we're live. Welcome to Soscast, episode 56. Soscast, where finance meets romance. Respect. Only here on Valuetainment, the #1 channel in the world for entrepreneurs. Sick special show today. Lovely ladies. Before we get started, we do this show for you, gentlemen. If you didn't know this, my name's Adam Sosnick. This entire show is to help you men improve your status, whether that's financially, in the sexual marketplace, or win in life. Now, what do we want to do? We want to get you paid, laid, and do it your way. Boom, let's go. So the entire function of this show is to serve you guys game, okay? The last thing that I want to see you guys doing is being freaking incels who don't make any money, you can't get laid, not contributing to society. It's a freaking problem. Yes. So what you're going to learn on this game, on this show is some game, some financial tips, some life tips, some relationship tips, and hopefully you can turn into a pimp-ass motherfucking winner.
Sounds good.
Does that sound good? So that's the whole goal here. With that being said, special lady guests on the show today. We had a show, a week ago of only dudes, and I got multiple comments. What's up with the dudes, bro? I was like, all right, so let's just bring ladies. That's it. I understand the function here. So I'm going to introduce these ladies, and then I'm going to let them kind of give their little spiel. But let's go one by one. On to my left, the lovely Layha Heilpern.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Said
I've been lectured multiple times. Podcaster, you've seen her all over YouTube. Author of Undressing Bitcoin. And what I would say, an absolute lover of free thinking mindset. Did I summarize that?
I feel like you hit the nail on the head. That's right.
It's what we do around here. Okay. And we're going to learn a little bit more about Layha. Aly Drummond, this is her second time on the show.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
I'm so
but
excited.
she made a massive impact. We met at the Conference for Masculine Excellence a few months ago. She goes by the Real Femme Sapien. Subscribe, by the way, to all their YouTube channels. We're going to leave all their descriptions and the links below. Proud housewife.
Oh, yeah.
Proud anti-feminist. And a red pill woman. Okay, we'll let Sara know what that means. All good. But Aly's back. She got the ring. You've seen the clips about how to get a ring. So she's gonna break down some game. And then Sara Tate, right? Famous last name these days. Former radio host for Playboy. Boom. Now you're an interior designer, and you love doing gaming videos all over TikTok. You go by Gigabunny.
Yes.
Let's put a link below. But basically, welcome to the show. Sara, when's the last time you did a podcast?
Never.
Never done. Okay. So we got a very frequent, and then we got a full-on expert over here.
Wow.
She's everywhere. You've seen her on Fox. She's
doing stuff.
Doing some stuff. Okay. So, and then obviously, if you have any eyeballs or brain cells, you have fell in love with Natalya Devalle over there on the ones and twos. She's on the mic. Nat, how you feeling? Before we learn more about our guests, let's start with you.
Yes.
The princess of Valuetainment. Yeah, I just made that up.
I didn't know I had that title. I'll take it.
I just gave it to you.
Thank you.
We've already taken how many shots of tequila? How you feeling? What's up? What do we need to know?
We've only taken one so far. Just getting started. I'm feeling great. I was a little bit tired, and then the ladies walked in, and I just woke up.
Boom.
I just woke up after that.
That's what ladies do
yes,
to you.
That's what they do.
Pep in your step.
Yes, I'm super excited for today. I think it's going to be a really interesting podcast today. And make sure, I know we have a nice amount of people watching. Make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys comment, subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of exciting things coming. And this podcast is going to be really, really exciting. We've got some beautiful ladies with some different perspectives, different strengths, different weaknesses. And I really want to get into it. So, Adam, let's get it going and take it away.
That shot
take it
really
away.
Nat was like on death's doorstep, and all of a sudden, one shot, 3 ladies walk in, she's ready to go. All right, let's meet our guests. So here's what we do to basically ingratiate ourselves to the audience. So this entire show is where finance meets romance. So let's get to know you by knowing a little bit of your story, your relationship status, and how you make your money. We'll just go from left to right. Layha, go ahead. Introduce yourself and answer those 3 questions.
Sure. Okay. You might have to remind me of each.
Who you are.
Okay. Right. Who I am.
Your relationship status and how you make your money.
Okay. Cool. So my name is Layha. I work full time in the crypto space. Big advocate for freedom and individual empowerment. What was the second one? Oh, single. And the third one, how I make my money. Through crypto trading. I have a podcast, and I have strong opinions on subjects like this. I guess you could call me like the anti-feminist, and people are like, how are you an anti-feminist? You have a career. And we'll get into all of that.
Yeah, we're going to get into that, how you can be an anti-feminist but also be a worker and a contributor and a doer. Kind of, different type of thing. Thank you. Aly Drummond in the house. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay, so I have a YouTube channel at Real Femme Sapien. I am located in the Midwest, where I am very happily married. And how I make my money, honestly, most of my income comes from my husband. So shout out to you, baby. Thanks.
What's his name?
Tom.
Tom.
Woo, shout out to Tom.
Right?
Shout
By
out
the
to
way,
Tom.
Tom, if you're looking for like some dude that can do some work around the house, I need someone to pay my bills. So Tom.
Right? And then I would say I probably earn, I don't know, like 1/6 or 1/8 of my income. I would say I do that, but
Of your household income.
most likely.
So
I
he's
think.
doing a good 70-80% of it.
I found a.
But you're contributing.
Right. I will to myself probably. No, I just found a hobby that I could monetize, and I think that's all I wanted was to do that. I don't think my husband would care if I made any money. If I just wanted to stay home and make candles and not turn a profit, and it didn't cost him too much on the bottom line, I don't think he'd care.
Got it. Okay. Well, shout out to you, Tom. Everyone needs a Tom in their life. Okay. Sara Tate in the house. Tell us about yourself, your relationship status, how you make your money.
I'm an interior designer, and I build virtual worlds in the metaverse. Literally, I'm a 3D expert that came from interior design, and I'm single.
Okay. And I've seen your TikTok. Let's make sure that if you're a gamer, by the way, if you're into game, I'm not.
Giga Bunny on TikTok, yeah.
Let's make sure you follow her on TikTok, Giga Bunny.
Yeah.
Spell it out.
With GIGABUNNIE without a Y.
Without the Y. All right. I-E, Giga Bunny. So if you're a gamer, follow Sara. Boom. All right. So 90% of our audience is men, okay? Young men between 21 and 35, let's say, right? Just looking at the demographics, but they're entrepreneurs. They've got a mindset, they want to improve, they want to get better. So the entire conversation here is like, let's serve these dudes game on how to get better with women, with life, and with money. Okay, we are on VT money here. So we talked about this last episode. Here's what we'll get into our first topic. Okay, we talked about this last episode. I'm a big Bill Maher fan. Anyone a fan of Bill Maher?
Oh yes, yeah,
Okay.
I love Bill Maher.
You love Bill Maher.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Is this an American thing?
He's like Piers Morgan, but way smarter and cooler.
But American.
American.
I'm British. That's the,
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell by the accent. Bill Maher, anyone?
I know a little bit about him.
Okay, massive fan of Bill Maher. Whether you are, whether you're not, all good. But anyway, he has very compelling guests on the show. And a couple weeks ago, he had this guy called Scott Galloway, who's a clinical professor at NYU. And the entire theme of what they were talking about is why there is a crisis among young men. All right. So basically, they goes on to talk about the following reasons why there is a crisis among young men. And if you were watching the show that we did last week, we covered this from a male's perspective. We're going to cover this from a female's perspective with additional information as well. But basically, they said that young men around the world, and even in America, are lonely, broke, and alone in their rooms on their phone. Okay. And then COVID happens, lockdowns happens, work from home happens, and that didn't exactly help the problem. It essentially exacerbated the problem. Not a good thing. And he goes on to say they're not attaching to work, not attaching to school, and not attaching to women, right? Watching porno on your phone all day at your house, not exactly going to lead to a healthy relationship. In fact, 1 in 3 men under 30 have not had sex in the last year. Yikes, okay? And there's nothing worse than basically horny, angry, unfulfilled men. That will lead to a very big problem in society. Speaking of those types of men, how you doing, buddy? You're welcome to the room. Just kidding, that's my guy. So anyway, there's the problem right here that's going on. And you're good?
Yeah, he's
okay,
good.
sorry, we had an intruder in the building, but we're good. I'm not going to pretend that it's not here. We're here.
No,
He's our friend.
no,
He's
that's
good.
it.
We're all good. Anyway, let me get to the point here. There's a problem among young men. All right, it's a leadership problem. It's a mentorship problem. It's a motivation problem. Enter Andrew Tate. So this guy shows up on the scene. Okay, Sara Tate. I understand. You share a familial link with this young man. He shows up on the scene, and just to give you guys a little perspective on how much this guy has skyrocketed in the last 6 months. Okay, well, maybe 9 months. In March, I'm talking with PBD, our CEO, worth X amount of zeros, like just massive dude. I'm like, hey, I'm working on getting this guy, Andrew Tate, on my show on the Soscast. He goes, it's a great idea. I think you should do that. That'd be great for your brand. That'd be a great interview. Boom. Fast forward 6 months later, Pat and I are flying to freaking Madrid across the world so we can go interview him for basically the big mothership Valuetainment PBD podcast. So just to show you how much this guy has skyrocketed in the last 6 months, he went from like, yeah, have him on the show, whatever, no big deal, to like, yo, grab the troops, grab the production crew, bring the makeup, boom, we out, okay? So let me play you guys a little clip from that interview. And again, the theme here is men need some help these days, and they've kind of latched on to basically Andrew Tate as sort of the guy to be like, all right, that's sort of the pinnacle of manhood. What can I take from this guy? Let's play this clip. Are we guys ready on the audio?
Ready?
Okay.
Ready, set, gonna play.
Use my trauma to use the bad things that happened to me to galvanize myself against attacks from the Matrix, as I've just proven I can easily weather. When I talk about men's mental health, they delete me. I thought you gave a shit about men's mental health. I'm the most popular man on the planet, and 90% of my content is not even about women. It's motivational and antidepressive. And you're going to sit here and delete me saying that I'm bad for women. What about men? I thought you gave a shit. All of a sudden, you don't give a fuck anymore, right? Just delete him. Who cares? I had a man message me. A man emailed me saying that he was going to kill himself.
And he goes basically on to tell a story about a guy's going to kill himself, and he basically gives him advice and encouragement to basically work out, get it together. Don't fucking off yourself. Get it together. All right. Let's continue on with Tate for a second so we get a better glimpse of who this is, and then we'll open up for discussion. Now go to Layah's YouTube page. Layah's got a great YouTube page, Layha Heilpern, right there. If you scroll up to the top interview right there, you did an interview with Tate 8 months ago.
Correct. Well, we did it in December 2021.
Okay, so almost, yeah, exactly.
10 months, yeah.
And I think it was maybe at like 100,000 views like 3 months ago, 2 months ago.
Yeah, and then it just skyrocketed. Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of like what Arnold Schwarzenegger says about like making money. He says like your first million's the hardest,
100%,
and then the other millions are the easiest.
Yeah,
so
totally
that's kind
agree.
of like the same with the YouTube video.
100%. My first million was freaking hard. Now it's like, all right, we're doing this thing. All right. So the point is, Layah, you've done an interview with him.
That's correct.
You've had multiple conversations with this guy. He's someone you would consider a friend at this point.
Yeah, even though he says he doesn't have female friends.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. You're gonna open up a lot of rumors out there, a lot of conspiracy theories about that.
Sure.
But you've done some reaction videos, especially when he got canceled and all that. Everyone knows that this guy got banned from every single platform, every single social media platform. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Discord, you name it.
Uber.
And then Uber, Airbnb, payment processors, like the whole world in Silicon Valley and beyond was like, delete, boom. But now he's bigger than ever, all right? So Layah also did a reaction video to Andrew Tate.
That's a bad freeze.
Anyway, so let's press play before Layah gets upset. Go.
Media outlets, they're talking about, if a man wants to work out and he's got muscles, it means he's a right wing and he's probably going to be sexist and a misogynist. I mean, what the hell is that? The government, this system, they want you weak. They want men particular to be weak, fat, and compliant so that they can't fight the tyranny. Because when you're weak, fat, and compliant, addicted to porn and unable to get outside your house and actually be aware of what's going on in the world, then the powers that be have more control. When men are strong, when men are intelligent, when men are entrepreneurs, when men are hitting the gym, that is not good for those who are in charge. And so, like I said earlier, I'm personally very excited about what Andrew's doing. He's empowering men to be better. As a woman, I want a strong man. I want a man that's going to look after me. And only a strong man who knows how to take personal responsibility, somebody that's wise, somebody that's smart, only that kind of man is going to be able to do that. A lot of women are settling for men that aren't particularly strong because there aren't strong men left. And so women are miserable. Women are then having to become more masculine so they can fill that void that's been created by society because men aren't men anymore. Across media.
Okay, boom, stop it right there. Great perspective.
Thank you.
Before I let Layah weigh in on this, I want to get your perspective on just the following two questions, okay? If 10 men come up to you at a bar, restaurant, library, wherever you meet men, what percentage of men are dateable? Sara, you can go first. What percentage of men are dateable?
Out of the 10 at
Yeah,
a
if
bar?
10 guys step to you at a bar. Hey, what's up? You're looking good. Can I get you a drink?
Well, I don't really know if they're dateable because I don't really know anything about them.
You know.
Right?
A girl knows in the first 5 seconds whether they'd be into a guy.
1%.
1%.
Yeah.
Okay, so not even one. So you chop that one guy up into 10 pieces.
Let's make it 5.
Okay.
Five-
5%.
Yeah.
So not even one guy that steps to you. Got
Hardly.
it. Boom.
Yeah.
Aly, I know that you're married, so Tom, forgive us for a second. 10 dudes step to you at a bar. How many of those guys are dateable?
I mean, honestly, maybe one. Physically, for sure, one. But then the hot boys, sometimes they're not ready to settle down. So that could drop it easily to like a 0.5. But it's slim pickings out there. I observe. People watch all the time. And that's how I can tell there is a problem with masculinity. And in that same vein, though, there's definitely a problem with femininity. Like, how many women out there are truly dateable? Like, I don't know.
Dateable and bangable are two different
Very
questions.
different,
Okay.
yeah.
But we'll keep it moving. Layah, you're in Miami now. People are stepping to you all the time. What percentage of men are dateable?
I think it depends what kind of woman you are, really. I think like, and I was complaining earlier about this to a friend. I think like if you would regard yourself, everything is like personal perspective. If you as a woman regard yourself as like an average woman, then you're going to be happy with like the average man. And so I would probably say like, I don't know, let's say there's a group of 10 men, 5 are dateable, right? Because you perceive yourself as the average woman. But if you perceive yourself to be, more than the average woman, and, we all know the term hypergamy, women date upwards, then yes, I mean, you're lucky if even one of those 10 men are going to be marryable.
So the lesson here is that, because, familiar with the Pareto principle, but the 80-20 rule, basically the top 20% of men get 80% of women. Technically, 100% of men want the top 20% of men.
Yeah.
But lesson here to you gentlemen out there, you got to improve, okay? Whether that's physically, your game, money, because if you step to a woman at a bar, based on what we've learned here from these wonderful women, there's a 90% chance she's going to be like, peace, you're not
I don't even like when they come up to me at a bar.
Okay, well, that's a whole nother thing. Okay. Nat, can I have you weigh in on this?
Yes.
Go
out
ahead.
of the 10,
Out of the 10, how many are dateable?
For my standard?
Yes.
Maybe like 1.
Okay, so just you're reaffirming everything
Being a
we just
woman
established.
I'm friendly, but
Okay.
like, would I maybe pursue you? Probably like 1, 2, if we're in a certain setting,
Okay.
maybe.
What do you mean certain setting?
It depends if you're like at a club versus maybe like a high-end restaurant at the bar,
Facts.
or
Okay.
if you're at the store, or it really depends where you are. Like if you're at the gym.
If you're shopping at Saks Fifth Avenue, all 10 guys are dateable.
There you go, right? I'm just kidding.
All right, real quick, because I don't want to spend a million hours on this. The one thing that each of these guys can improve. So basically, if 10 guys step to you, you only pick 1. If you could give advice to the other 9, what's sort of the uniform advice of like, dress better, have better game, like brush your teeth, like,
Please.
whatever it is, what's like the one thing that can improve the odds for most men? Quick answer. Go ahead, Layah.
I think the easiest thing a man can do is just look better, right? Like hit the gym, look strong. Women like safety. So if you come up to her and you look big and strong, done, that gets you over the first hurdle. The rest, of course, there are other hurdles, but that gets you in the door to some extent.
Okay. Do you agree with that, Aly? What's the one thing you would change for most men?
No, I definitely agree. I mean, 73.6% of the American population is overweight to include obesity, and those are Americans like 21 years old and older. So that's men and it's women. So a lot of these dudes are talking about women aren't looking at me. I mean, to be blunt, my limbic system is not attracted to your pudge. So like first and foremost, do something about that. And then it's even cooler too, because you can be fit. I'm very strategic about dating though. So you can be a fit, buff guy, but you know what's cooler too though is if you're good at combat sports, because I know you can just take out my enemies, both foreign and domestic. And if you can't, I get it. It's tough to get into combat sports, but it's just so hot. But if you can't, you can learn how to handle a firearm. Like let me feel safe. I worry about my physical safety. Not at all with my husband at all.
Got it. Okay, Sarah, what's the one thing you would give advice for guys to improve upon?
When coming up to you at a bar?
Or just in general, you said not even 1 out of 10. What would help
Well,
improve
you said
the
at a
odds?
bar, though, like in general?
Anywhere in life.
I don't know. Dress better, not be so pushy, be confident.
So just
have
to
your
be
stuff in
clear,
order.
you do know, because you just said 4 answers. Okay,
You got
so
it, Sarah.
dress better, don't be pushy. What else?
Yeah, that's what I would
Boom,
say.
she knows. See? Not that hard. You got this.
Got it.
Nat, what about you?
I mean, obviously, your first impression is what you look like. So keeping yourself together, like you look clean, you look together. And then from there, conversation, like a good one-liner opening. Like nobody likes a weird, good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Like the word is like
Yes.
he's hot, and then he opens his mouth. You're like, holy crap! Like, please go away.
That's so true.
It happens a lot more than people would think.
It's
and,
true.
Like game does matter. Game totally matters.
It does. So I mean, looks, that's kind of obvious because that's everybody's first judgment.
Yeah.
And then having like a good open liner.
Yeah,
Not
I
just
agree
like
with
a
that.
regular.
So I'll tell you a funny story. I have a good buddy of mine. I'm not going to call him out there.
Call him
Good
out.
looking dude, played in the NBA, famous, tall,
I know.
good looking. Again, I'm not going to say his name. And he would open his mouth and the girl would be like,
No.
and I would consistently say, anytime we get to the bar, club, restaurant, whatever, library, I'd be like, dude, stand there, look good, let me do the fucking talking, okay?
Oh my God.
Boom. And things would work out well for us. So like, anyway, just unless you're a 6'9" NBA player, you're going to have a fucking mouthpiece, right? So you're going to spit some game. All right. Thank you for that, ladies. I think the gentleman hopefully took something from that. Hit the fucking gym. You don't have to be a UFC player. You don't got to, UFC fighter. You don't have to be Conor McGregor to date a chick, but, maybe just look decent, protect women.
Oh, yeah.
Got it. All right. Moving on. Let's get back to Tate here for a second, because I wanted to establish the first thing we talked about, this crisis among young men. So we got that. Check. Boom. Now let's get to Tate. What percentage of women hate Andrew Tate?
It's a great question. Oh my God. I feel like we have to, most women lie, right? Like most women have no idea about what they're talking about and they don't understand their own emotions. So I would say like 90% of women say they hate Andrew Tate, but I would actually say 100% of women are looking for a man like Andrew Tate. That's the reality. Yeah.
So how do you grapple with that cognitive dissonance, I believe is what that's called?
Oh, I'm just used to the cognitive dissonance. What do you mean? I mean, everyone's cognitive and crazy. Cognitive dissonance everywhere in life these days.
Okay.
But what do you mean?
Don't be intellectually lazy, Layah.
Intellectually lazy. You can use it.
Exactly. That's an inside joke there. But go ahead. What are you going to say
sorry.
about the cognitive dissonance?
No, I mean, I just think a lot of women are all in their emotions. They say they want one thing, but they really want another. And I agree with Andrew when he says women don't know what they want, right? Like women think they want a nice guy. They don't want a nice guy that end up walking all over him and disrespecting him, and then they won't respect him. So 90% of women may hate Andrew, but I think 99.9% of women love Andrew and would like a man like Andrew.
Got it. You're doing a lot of head nodding over there. I don't know if you're listening to like a DMX album or you just agree with Layah. What do you got?
No, I totally agree. So I think majority of American women are inherently feminist. I think they're born and created that way at this point in time. So I would say, 90% of women probably say they hate Andrew Tate. But I kind of feel like if you put those women in a room one-on-one with Andrew Tate and he put some moves on him, I think they'd say yes. Like, so they hate him, but I think they'd sleep with him. So like, how much do you really hate him then? But I mean, I don't think women have ever been presented the option of a man that is like that attractive and successful for the most part.
That's true.
Got it. Sarah, what percentage of women hate your cousin Andrew Tate?
My cousin. Well, here's the thing. The more I actually like watch his stuff, I thought I hated him at first, like when I first saw the first few clips. And then like I see things like he was like talking about mental illness in men and saying that like, that just keeps them down and there's a way out, saying that that's just your brain, ends up making them commit suicide and they can find a way out of that. I'm like, okay, I agree with that, and I saw something else where he was like, well, what if your son was gay? Would you still love him? And he's like, absolutely. And I'm like, that's great. And then I saw something else where it's like, well, what type of girls do you pick? 18 to 20, you got to find them young and so you can mold their brain. And I'm like,
you weren't into that.
But there's a lot of things that he says that I do agree with.
Okay.
I think sometimes it's just a little bit more on the extreme side when it comes to women. Like he's putting all women in a certain right here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not.
That's your problem
It's
with
like
Tate.
when girls say like, all men are bad. No, not all men are bad.
Yeah.
You just because you had 2 or 3
That's
bad
like
experiences.
saying believe all women. It's like, no.
It's
Believe.
like all. I don't like that. But
The
like
word all.
his intellectual, like inside thoughts, I actually agree
No
with
doubt
most.
the guy's a thinker, a philosopher,
really
a
do.
speaker, a talker. Nat, what percentage of women hate Andrew Tate?
I would say, actually, I think it's changed. I think before it's been more like 100% of women hate him. But I think now after all of this and everybody's like kind of forced to listen to like him, I think the number has maybe gotten down to maybe like hopefully like 80% of women only hate him, just because like, like Sarah said, like once you listen to some of the content and the behind what he's like saying, women do want to get behind it. They're looking for someone like him, maybe not as, bold and vocal like he is, but essentially they want a strong man with discipline and, who can lead and do all those things. So I would say today, maybe like 80%. I'm going to give us ladies a little wiggle room.
So it's going down.
I think it's going
100
down.
to 90
I think
to
it's
80.
going down based on
Got it.
everything that's going on.
Well, I think a lot of the reasons why is that women will judge an entire person on a 30-second TikTok clip.
Yeah.
Right? So you'll just rush to judgment on anyone. Seeing one clip. Boom, he canceled. No, I didn't like what he said.
Well, I think I was just gonna say, I think it's because women are very emotional, right? Like we are way more emotional than men. Like you brought up that clip of me earlier, like that makes me emotional because I genuinely like mean what I said from the heart.
Yeah.
And like I think women are more emotional. So like yes, if you see a video of Andrew saying something which is harsh and naturally exaggerated for marketing purposes, it's gonna trigger an emotion in you. And then I think it takes, from my experience, either more time or a man around you to say, hang on, Layah, like, why don't you look at it from this perspective, you know, and you can actually see the logic. And then you're like, oh yeah, okay, actually that makes sense. So I think women naturally are going to not like him because we are emotional.
Yeah, I think I've had some experiences as of late with women and being a guy with a bar in South Beach and being out, yada, yada, yada. So I think I told you this the other day. I'm out with some friends. A buddy of mine, he brings some girls. We're out, we're having dinner, whatever. I strike up a conversation with this girl. They were in town, they're visiting South Beach, and the whole night was just, we all had a great time. It was a fun dinner, we all laughs, great, boom. We paid for everything, you know, sent them home in an Uber, treated them well, all good. Like, it couldn't have been a better experience for these girls, is what I'm saying. Everyone had a great time. My buddy's dating one of the friends, like the rest of us, we all just kind of got along. One of the girls, hey, let's keep in touch, whatever, exchange numbers, boom, 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 boom. They left at like 2, 3 in the morning, boom, we all went and called it a night. That was Friday night. I wake up Saturday morning, wake up to a text, and the text read, so you fuck with Tate? That's what the text read. Not, hey, thanks for a great night, hey, appreciate it. Hey, you know, just so you fuck with Tate. That's what I wake up to, right? So it's 9 a.m., whatever. I'm like,
Yes.
and I was just like, I mean, yeah, I interviewed him, like, he's cool. And she's like, you disgust me. And I go, like, excuse me? What did I do? She's like, how could you even affiliate with that person? And I said, well, what don't you like about him? And we go, it's a text exchange. I think I told you some of this, right?
Yeah, you did.
We have this text exchange, and she's just like, I just think he's disgusting, and anyone who listens to him is a disgusting man. I go, well, correct me if I'm wrong. How was our night last night?
Yeah.
She goes, well, what do you mean? I go, did you have fun? Yes. Did we disrespect you at all? No. Did we pay for everything? Yes. Did you enjoy yourself? Yes. So what are you saying right now? Right? And she's just like, I don't know, just like, you know, I just don't like him. And I was like, well, tell me what you don't like about him. And she's like, I just don't like him. And I literally ended the conversation. I go, text me when you grow up. And that was it. It was the end of the fucking conversation. Because the cognitive dissonance that we're talking about. Here's a guy and his friends that just took care of you and your entire crew all night, right? Food, drinks, Ubers, just lifestyle, Miami, South Beach. You didn't pay for shit. We didn't disrespect you. You had a great time. And that's what you wake up and text me first thing in the morning?
You were too nice.
What do you,
I know.
You were too, because like you spent way too much money on this chick.
Not at all.
Like, I don't know.
I would have, like,
It's probably not
drop
that
in the
much.
bucket.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I'm broke now. Whatever. 4 guys split $1,000 bill, a couple hundred. It's literally,
bad.
Right.
it's not a big deal whatsoever. Like, money ain't the problem here. It's the disrespect and it's the
because of
Yes.
what you did for her, right? Like you gave her your resources and the next day she just disrespects you without even asking and thinking or like, you know, even giving some nuance to who you are and what you did for her last night, right? That's the
Right.
disrespect because you provided and immediately she's like, you think this, you're a bad person. And that's disrespectful.
Well,
agree.
I look at it a different way.
think it's just
Okay,
immature.
I'm looking at it now. She's having a conversation with one of her friends, and she's saying like, "Whatever happened with those guys?" And she's like, he's a fucking asshole, whatever." And she's like, "What are you talking about? We had an awesome time, like, because they're gonna talk."
Of course.
Because she's going to say, yeah, I actually followed him on Instagram and I actually saw that he had a picture with Andrew Tate.
Oh my God.
And like, oh my God, can you fucking believe it? And one of her friends, if they have common sense, will be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
none of the friends will say that. that's
okay,
for sure.
well then, good luck, ladies.
Like attracts like. But it's interesting. I just want to
Yeah.
just add to that. It's fascinating because if I'm looking for a man, if a man tells me he doesn't like Andrew Tate, I'm like, okay, goodbye.
Right, red
so like,
flag.
right, a man
Why,
has
why,
to.
as a
Yes.
guy, wouldn't you like Andrew Tate?
Right.
Right,
You're-
exactly.
Unless you're Logan Paul with an agenda, right?
Exactly. In which case, red fucking flag, right? So when a man's like, I don't like Andrew Tate, I'm like, okay, next.
Okay. But Sarah, let's go back to you. You said before you watched a lot of his content. You didn't like what he had to say. And there's some still things that you probably still don't like as far as like the grooming of the girls. What is it like if you can pinpoint what women are like, ugh, I hate you, buddy, Adam, whoever, because you like Andrew Tate? Can you pinpoint what precisely triggers women?
Maybe the age thing. Maybe the fact that he just puts them all. I mean, like when you're at like 18 to 20, you're stupid. Like, you don't know nothing.
Yes.
So
That's how they like them.
I know that he's
Not true. I can't let you sit there and say that.
I disagree.
I saw a video of him straight
No.
up saying you got to find them during those ages so you can groom them. Like so you can find. In other
Can I
words, so
just
you
add
can
to
find
that?
their. Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you
Go,
off.
go,
Can I
go.
just add to that? I think it's really interesting because I really understand. Like, I do understand why men want women at such a young age so that they can mold them. Like, I fully get it because, you know, you want her on your path before she becomes indoctrinated by feminism. And, you know, she's all about the career and doesn't want to, you know, support you and everything like that. I can't remember where I was going with this, actually. Wait, what were you saying?
Feminism doesn't affect everyone though. Like you can have a mind of your own and do your own thing. Like you don't have to like go one way or the other. Like
I think-
and you can be smart and successful and beautiful. I mean, we've come a long way. Botox and Juvederm. Like today is 30 and 40 ain't like yesteryears. You know what I'm saying? People live longer now. Like you don't have to find them in that time period. Like everything else he says, I swear, is like intelligent. And then when just seems outdated.
Well, what I was going to say was it's fascinating because I get why men want them young so they're moldable, right? But when I think of myself, even like 2 or 3 years ago, you know, when I was like 20, 21, 22, I don't even think I would have been a good wife. Like you couldn't even mold me at that age. Like I'm very close to my brother and a lot of my opinions are because he molded me, right? But even so, you just couldn't make me a good housewife at 20, 21 or 22 or 23. It wasn't until even 24, it wasn't until I was like 25, I was like, actually, even in the last 6 months, like I would be a great wife now. But like I'd be a much better wife today than I would be 6 months ago, right?
Absolute facts. You're always learning and growing.
So it's like, yes, I understand mold her when she's young, but even when I was like 20, I wouldn't have been a good housewife.
Aly, go ahead.
I think that just comes down to how you're being raised, right? Because if you grow up in a 2-parent, well-rounded, and I'll say religious household, you're going to be absolutely fine being a housewife and a stay-at-home mom 20 to 24. But I think that just shows where women are at. And I don't think you can get away from feminism. Every woman is a feminist to a little bit of a degree. I talk to average women pretty frequently. And I can understand why men want to go younger. I don't think they want us dumb. I think they want us to be cooperative and not combative. And I've worked with women. Sometimes I coach women and I really hate is a strong word. I really dislike coaching women that are 30 and older because it's too hard to break the mental models that they've already formed. And how old was the woman that you were talking to in Miami, do you think?
Shit.
Late 20s?
It don't matter.
I think she was 29.
Right, late 20s. So that's like an example of really bad girl game and indoctrination. You do something nice for me. I tell you, you like this guy. And basically, in my mind, I think that you're a scumbag. But these same women are going to complain that they're not dateable and that they're single in their 30s. Whereas like, for me, I don't feel bad for you. Like you had a choice. You could have been a wife sooner. I mean, whatever. But my point is that that's a lot of American women right now. They're just outright disrespectful, ungrateful, unkempt, and I think it's a struggle on both of the sexes right now.
Nat, you want to weigh in?
Sorry, I was looking at the chat.
We'll get to the super chat in a sec.
I'm also
Question
reading the
again?
chat.
Say that again.
We were talking about Andrew Tate
Yes.
and Layah, and I started the conversation with Sara, basically saying if you could pinpoint what women don't like about Tate. Then we kind of got into the feminism component, and you just looked like you were ready to talk, and maybe I misinterpreted that.
It's okay. Now I'm ready to talk.
If you could pinpoint what
people don't like about him?
Exactly, what women get triggered about it.
I'm
She
gonna
said
be
the age and the
honest.
moldable. By the way, I'm going to weigh in on this moldable young age in a second. So,
I think it's really just like his tone. Like, that's true. Like, can I just be honest? Like, sometimes like the clips that I saw him were very aggressive, very angry, and like women take that as like being like scolded at. You're like, you know, being like yelled at. And I think if he was able to deliver a message in more of a relatable way for women, but I don't think that's what he's like his goal. It's not for women, it's for the men out there.
yes.
So I think just like his tone, I think if you listen to his content as a woman that's not ready to be offended, you can really get you a right man that you want.
That's correct.
Like if you like ladies, they're you guys are not being very smart with this.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it's really the tone. Like if he can just adjust his way of speaking so that he's able to not only gravitate towards the men, but also get the ladies to understand a perspective. Ladies will really, I think, develop and change in a different way. Now, of course, like age and everything, nobody wants to hear they're getting older, and as you get older, you can't have X, Y, and Z, but it's a reality. So it's like you're better off to like consider the factors and then move accordingly. So I really just think it's the way his message is being delivered. Now, of course, I don't agree with everything this guy says, but majority of the things, it's pretty valid, factual points. So I really just think it's the way his message is being delivered.
Got it. Number one, he's not changing his tone, nor should he. It got
Exactly.
him this far. Do you, player? You're still the top
1,000%.
J. All good.
Yes.
So he's not changing that.
Good.
Number two, let's talk about age. You talked about being moldable, okay?
Yeah.
What's that?
I said he's top G.
Top G.
He's not.
I kind of agree that I think women 21 to 24, they got some figuring shit out to do. They need to date the wrong guy. They need to fucking fuck up. They need to go through their whole phase. Like, because the last thing you want to do is get married at 22 and like you were molded or whatever. I've seen this happen before. Next thing you know, you're 37 and you're like, I never got to party. I never got to be the girl on a yacht. I never got to bang the Latino guy in the club, whatever. And then like you're going to have this like, I wish. So there is a component for women to kind of get some of the stuff out of your system. And then let's say whether it's 24, 25, whatever, then you can kind of get settled into it. I'd say the exact same thing to guys, but just wait till you're in your 30s. Like any guy that's like trying to get married at 22, I'm like, bruh.
Don't do it.
What? Okay, so that's the biggest thing is the age factor. By the way, age factor, what's the difference between age gap between you and your husband?
23 years.
23 years.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm absolutely okay with it. I mean, I'm totally okay with it. If I wanted to be with a millennial man, I could have. I tried it. I did not like it. This is the crisis of masculinity, okay? I mean, a lot of Gen X men, they had to have game. You know, you had to like prove your worth and your value. You had to like, hey, we're going to go here, meet me at this time. And you had to hone it. And now it's like guys are swiping or they're texting or sending a message. So I really like the masculinity that my husband brings to the table. But I think a lot of women romanticize it and aren't faced with the reality of it because you do have to make a lot of adjustments. This is not a man that you can control. But it's like, well, that's like what I thought was sexy in the first place. So I better figure out.
I
Gorilla
totally
style.
agree.
Layah, last word, and then we'll go to the next topic.
No, I agree. You know, when I'm thinking about like the kind of person I want to spend the rest of my life with, I don't want it to be somebody that I can control. I really don't want it to be in the slightest. I don't want a man that's controlled by a woman. If you're controlled by a woman, then you can be controlled by the government. You can be controlled by all these other dangerous things. Like I'm looking for a man that's like on his own mission, not like uncontrollable. You know, he lives on his own path, by his own reality, his own morals. That's so important. Yeah, it's super sexy, especially when especially when he has demands of you as well. Like, you know, I'm this kind of man, so I expect you to do these kind of things, and you're just gonna be like, okay, that makes sense, you know, okay.
Yeah, if you've ever dated a girl, gentlemen out there, and let's say I'm a Miami Heat fan, okay, and I dated a girl, let's say she didn't really care about sports or whatever, she had a team. 100% she's gonna be a Miami Heat fan.
Oh yeah.
Okay, like whatever fucking team you got that you can barely care about, you're now on my team. Okay, and that's just kind of how things operate. So if you want to just take that little lesson tidbit and extrapolate that for life, like women kind of get on the guy's page. You know, they say that men lead, women follow.
Yeah.
That's just a minor example of that. Let's move on. We're talking about men today and how men can improve. We're going to talk about dating, relationships, money. We're going to go there. But there's a clip here, 2 clips that we'll kind of do back to back, Nat. There's this comedian out there, if you can pull up this clip, and they basically talk about men back in the day, basically our grandparents, the 1940s, versus men now. We got volume, Jorge? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Fought the Battle of Normandy, came home and worked to provide for my family. The only time I complained was when I woke up screaming in my sleep. Well, as a stay-at-home dad, I ensure that my 2 kids, Xeon and Ziblat, live in a world without boundaries. Every day, my wife gives me a to-do list and a to-not-do list. But mostly I just have to sit back and zip it till a feminist-driven, sexually liberated society takes my family to a better...
Dad, where's my freaking iPad?
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, my little love pudding. I fought the battle of North.
All right, cool. Shout out to the comedian Andrew Oporto.
Very good.
Talking about men back then versus men today. Basically, the feminization of men. Ladies have been basically talking about how men need to be more masculine, be more of a fighter, UFC fighter to be exact. Who would you rather have been with out of those 2 guys?
Oh, the first guy. But wait, there's something that I want to talk about. Like, why are men feminized? Like, can we get? I want to mention that.
We could talk. I mean, okay.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Okay.
I just want to talk about the feminization of men. Like, why are they feminized? Especially off the back of the first video you played. There's 2 reasons why men are feminized. We live in a femme-centric society, right? Mm-hmm. So men are being raised by, and also because of the breakdown of the family unit, and there's a war on the family unit. So men are being raised by women, right? And when they're not at home, then they're in school being taught and raised by women in a world whereby everything is catered to women, whereby the messaging from the media is don't be toxic masculine, don't be toxically masculine, don't it's okay to cry, it's okay to show your feelings, so they're like pushing all this like feminine energy onto men, and I don't think that is just a coincidence. I think the reason they're doing this is because, as we saw from the video, men used to be a lot more masculine. They used to be a lot stronger. They used to be a lot more disagreeable. And so it's the men that go to war and it's the men that fight. So when tyranny comes, it's the men that go first, right? And so if you're able to control the men and you're able to feminize the men, then you're able to control society to a much greater extent. Especially with the last 2 years, I spoke up a lot about how I found the vaccine mandates inhumane, the lockdowns inhumane, and that went against my nature. Like, as a woman, I don't want to be at war. Like, I went to war, but like, online or whatever. I don't really want to go to war, but like I felt like I needed to. And if we lived in a society whereby like men were more masculine and they weren't busy with their rainbow flags and switching genders and all that fun stuff, I don't think that like the last 2 years would have gone as far as it did, basically. If men were more masculine. So when you feminize the men, you control society better. And again, that's why we have all these femme-centric systems. So that's basically what's going on. And yes, I'd rather marry the first man, the one from the 1940s. But even then, and I won't go on, but even then, I don't think we had it right in the 1940s either.
Right, and here's where I'll go with that. Anytime there's a situation that needs to be corrected, corrections happen.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, whether that's in masculinity, whether it's femininity, whether that's the workplace, whether that's politics. They notice that correction needs to be needed, like first wave feminism. Yeah, women should vote. Yeah, women should be able to drive, right? Yeah, women should be able to work. Corrections, okay? Politics, corrections, okay? I didn't like Obama. We're going to correct it with Trump. We didn't like Trump. We're going to correct it with Biden. Biden ain't doing so hot. We're going to probably correct it. Boom. So the problem is when you have these corrections, you start correcting and correcting and correcting. And next thing you know, there becomes an overcorrection. Okay? So I guarantee you 5 years ago, there were not these types of topics being discussed throughout social media because it wasn't that big of a problem. And the problem was exacerbated during COVID and lockdowns and compliance and order and all that stuff. And clearly we're in need of an overcorrection. So a lot of young men out there who are basically saying, you know what? I think I was kind of fucking raised by my mom and feminine. It's like time for me to man up. I watched an Andrew Tate video and I was about to fucking off myself. And you know what? I got a 6-pack now. So you talked about, the need of a correction. Sometimes overcorrections need to be corrected. Correct?
And Tate is that overcorrection.
100%.
And I think we need that so much because as I said, and you mentioned as well, we have these femme-centric societies. So if a man doesn't know what he's doing in life and he can't find his purpose, he's being raised by his mother and she's like, it's okay, don't worry, you're okay.
Get in touch with your feminine side. It's okay to cry. Here's a trophy for being in 7th place. Boom.
Right. And then they say, and I quote Jordan Peterson as well here, Jordan Peterson says, these women in society tell men you're okay the way you are. No, you're not okay the way you are.
Yeah.
Nobody is okay the way they are.
Yes.
Even women, and that's a major issue which we can get to as well. Why most women are still single is because all their babes are like, yeah, girl, you don't need to lose weight. You're okay the way you are. No,
You're a boss, babe.
nobody's okay the way they are. Everybody, if you want the best, you got to do better and improve and get the best.
Okay. Aly.
Oh, I've got a lot of
Spit
opinions.
some game, girl. Let these guys know.
So many opinions. Okay, so a masculine man is a man who cannot be controlled, and that is either a danger or a benefit to society, to women, to children. But I think right now it's mostly just seen as a threat and a detriment, because had all these masculine men came out and said, hey, matter of fact, we're not going to comply with these jab mandates. Matter of fact, we're going to stop like supply and shipping. Matter of fact, I will not be going to work. I think we would have seen a big and a different outcome, because to me, this global pathogen has just been an excuse for authoritarianism.
Yeah.
And I know that men could have stopped it if they wanted to, but I don't think that they are encouraged to operate in that capacity. I think that we need men, but we're trying to just make them wallets only. It's like the beta buck situation, but for a society. And I see that happen on the progressive side of things, the secular side of things, but I also see it happen on the Christian side of things too. And that's what makes me really upset, because one of the things that I've experienced, my husband is a non-believer, so he's agnostic, I think, and I'll get a lot of shame for choosing to date a man outside of the church. But if you go and you look at the church, it's a lot of feminized beta males, and that actually goes against like the biblical doctrine.
Yes.
Men are encouraged to be men, women are encouraged to be women. But like
freaking Ned Flanders on The Simpsons. Hi, neighbor.
Yeah, and so like me, a young fertile woman, I am Christian, but that's not the kind of guy that I want to date. And it's like they're trying to convince women that they should be attracted to these more beta male types. And so a lot of young fertile Christian women are being shamed essentially. But you can't convince me that God wanted me to marry a feminine man. I'm sorry, I don't care. I just don't think that that's reality. So that's mostly my perspective. And it seems that what's encouraged globally with this progressivism and globalism is that the only right way to be human is to be feminine. Right now there's an ad for Virgin Atlantic, and it came out, and there were women in pantsuits.
Yeah.
There were men in skirts. And so if you think about it, a woman being in a pant...
Men in skirts?
Yeah.
Can you put this up on YouTube? Is that
Yeah.
possible?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, please. Imagine being stuck on so basically, just to clarify,
She's
they're
pulling
they're
Virgin and Atlantic Airlines.
They're
ad.
basically switching the genders. So like as a male flight attendant, you can wear a skirt now, and as a woman you can wear pants or whatever. But imagine being stuck on an airplane for like 9 fucking hours with this insanity. Like you can't even escape it. At least if you're in a room with a bunch of like woke lunatics, you can leave. But being stuck on a plane, I'm like, man, I don't think I can fly Virgin
Imagine
Atlantic.
if there was a problem on the plane and the male stewardesses in dresses are like, we're all gonna die. It's like, buddy.
Yeah.
Be a man. Get it together.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if we can play.
No,
can we play
I don't think it's the right one. I think it was the second one she saw.
But even that was woke, because she went to put on her lipstick and then she was like,
right.
Is that one right
I don't
there?
need to be pretty.
That's the one.
I don't know if we can play it, so just fast forward it real quick. Here he goes with the sash.
It gets so woke, honestly.
Go towards the end.
Little pronoun button. Because you can't tell that I'm a woman.
That's
with
a
my
man,
breasts.
by the way.
Yeah.
Right.
Look,
this isn't
we get it.
though.
It's going to be ridiculous. Okay.
Yeah. So the only right way to be is to be feminine.
Here's the deal. We talked about the corrections, and there was a need of a correction. People wanted to be included and felt, part of society and not cast aside and felt like marginalized. And that is fair. There was a correction needed. But when you start having like the situation in Canada with the woman with the breasts out to the other side over here, and like
Adam, that's part of something bigger if you want to get into that.
What is it part of bigger?
Okay, so here we go. I don't know how deep down the rabbit hole we're going to go.
With Layah, we go pretty deep down.
Well, I mean, that's
Sarah,
part
we're
of...
going to come to you in a sec, okay?
That's part of a global pedophile sex ring. That's my
Jesus.
that's
Okay.
my overall perspective. I mean, you just need to look at what they're doing. So like they're trying to sexualize children, okay? So they're doing it with music. They're doing it again, I have to be clear, I have nothing against trans people, do what you want. But don't impinge sexuality on children. Like children don't need to be have having drag queen story hour. They don't need to be going to gay pride events where you have men in nothing but like underwear whipping each other's bums. Like you do not need children there, and the push to have children there, and the fact that, you know, me saying what I'm saying supposedly makes me a fascist and some evil person. Obviously it doesn't. It makes me a child protector. That's what it makes me.
A protector of children.
A protector of children.
Got it,
but
yeah.
the fact that I said, and they'll cancel me for that, is fascinating, and it means that's part of a bigger thing to
We'll go
sexualize
there.
children.
Sarah, you were a host on Playboy TV.
Playboy Radio.
Playboy Radio.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of advice would you give to men? I assume you were giving advice to men.
We were hosting the parties from the Playboy Mansion on the radio.
Okay.
That's what we did. Yeah.
All right.
Not really
And-
so much advice. We were just, you know,
But in
hanging out.
okay, so in terms of masculine men and the feminization of men, do you have any strong feelings on this?
And to what regard?
Well, just what you're seeing out there in the streets.
No.
No, this ain't for you.
I don't even know how to. I don't know.
Gotcha. Would you
Pass.
rather be with a strong masculine man?
Absolutely.
Or a weak
Absolutely,
feminine man?
absolutely.
So, Sarah, you do freaking know the freaking answer.
No, it's Sarah.
This ain't
Say it,
trivia
girl.
over here. Would you rather be with a strong masculine man
Confident.
or a weak
Confidence is hot. There's probably nothing hotter than confidence.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right up there with all the other things that women think are hot.
I've realized something You've seen Austin Powers?
Yes.
You've seen it? Where he's like, where's Dr. Evil? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you. Where's Dr. Evil? I can't ever tell you. Where's Dr. Evil? He's like, in that layer over there. It takes him 3 times to answer a question. You're only 2 times. So you're doing better than Austin Powers. Anyway, to wrap this up, Natalya.
Yes.
We're having this debate, the feminization of men. Okay. I got a lot of guys step to you. What percentage of guys are just like feminine? You're like, get that feminine energy out of here versus like, where's that dude at? Where's that confident man? I'm not talking,
Like,
he doesn't have to be
out
the
of
fucking...
10? Out of 5? people?
Sure. Just percentage wise.
I would say like 2 to 3 men out of 10. Or you can feel like their masculinity.
2 to 3 out of 10, you think? Have masculine or feminine, sorry.
Oh, have masculine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's low.
That's low.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
a
yeah, I
third-
agree.
a
Out
third
of
of
10
men,
men,
yeah.
Sorry.
I would say 2, maybe 3 on a good day or a good setting.
Okay.
Have I can feel their masculinity.
So
when
this is
I'm
different than
approached.
what I asked you earlier when I said what percentage of men are dateable. Okay, and you said, get it together, hit the gym, look better, dress better, have better game, better pickup line. Boom. This is different. This is just energy. Like
Yeah.
masculine energy versus female energy.
Yeah. I would say like 2 to 3 out of 10 men, I feel masculine energy when I'm first approached
Got it.
by them.
So explain. I've never been a feminine man. I don't think I'm a feminine man. So, right? I mean, maybe ladies will. What is it that feminine men do, act, say? How do they?
Feminine men are agreeable. They don't lead. They aren't very strong. They don't have strong opinions. But I think it depends where in the world you live. So I'm from London, and I think the men are far more feminine in London. Apologies if any British people are watching. I always get like a lot of hate for saying that. But I find like the feminization of men is very much aligned with this woke culture. And woke culture is very much infiltrated in London society, very much. Whereas I'm new to Miami, and I find men far more masculine in Miami. I don't know whether it's like the Latina culture. I don't know whether it's like the Republican nature of the state.
Now, do you think it's an act though?
Yeah, I mean, I actually met one guy that was like super hyper masculine, and I was like, oh wow. When I got to know him, I was like,
You're
oh,
not.
Hold on.
No,
What?
for sure.
They're faking it?
Yeah,
What do you
like
mean?
a guy will
Of
come
course.
to you and like act like, I'm the man, and then as you get to know them, you're like, wait, you don't have a backbone, you're not
Just
a
like,
hard
I have to-
worker.
Well, they're
you're
playing a
not-
part?
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
They're faking it?
Yeah,
How do you
Adam.
fake masculinity?
Like your voice, don't be like, I got this. Like, let me pull this one.
Let me show you guys. Listen, where I come from. But what do you
You need to
mean
start
that?
with this first.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
They fake
Zero.
it. Like the
It's like the
I met-
honeymoon phase, right? When you go and you're like, oh, I'm this thing, and then you're like, wait, I'm really not.
Okay, I understand
You know.
like faking certain things, like
Trust
I
me, you
make,
can't
I
fake
make a little
everything.
bit more money, or I live in a nicer place, whatever. But how do you fake masculine energy.
Well, like it's really easy. Like I dated a guy like a year ago when I first got to Miami. Went on a few dates with him. He used to wear like the chains. He had the tattoos. He had like the whole vibe. And he was like, "Yeah, older women love me." I said, "Why?" And I quote, he goes, "Because I look like I could fuck the shit out of them." That's what he said. Okay.
That's so...
And this man, after like getting to know him, was just a woman. Like he was a woman. He was so like he was emotional. He was like, "Oh, you're disrespecting me," and I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm asking you to like step up to like the plate. I'm asking you to like show me, yourself as like I'm asking you to step up basically." And like he was just like, "No, that's what about me? What about my feelings?" And I'm like, "This is just weird. Like I thought you were a man." Like,
and then could he like did he fulfill his quote unquote what he does to women?
I don't know. Yeah, we didn't get that far. I don't know.
Good. Yeah.
Got it. But basically, we're talking about lying, and like you said, you've had this similar experience.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Because Natalya was talking about how 2 out of 3 guys out of every 10, but I have a really good BS meter when it comes to masculinity. Yeah. But I've also served in the military, and I've seen guys with very shiny badges that you get to know one-on-one, and you're like, like this is all an act, it's not it. So that is what I think women are coming out and saying, "Oh, like my ex was a narcissist, It's overt narcissism. They have to play a character in order to get women. And for these women, they're disappointed because they thought he was a man, and then they got to know him, and they were like, okay, so this is clearly not what occurred. But I think that's that crisis of masculinity that we're talking about, because I don't think all these men are narcissistic. I just think too many guys are faking the funk. And game gets really
faking the funk.
Yeah,
Great
game gets
reference.
Misinterpreted
especially
all the
down
time.
here. You can put on a chain, you can get tattoos, you can pull up in a nice car, like you can rent that, like you can do all those things. But like once you give it a week and you're like, I got to fool you. You're good. You're done. It's over.
Got it. So we consistently ask women what like the most attractive qualities of a man. They constantly say confidence, ambition, masculinity, and that's something that if you're faking it, will clearly like you'll see through that after time. All right, cool. Thank you for that. Next clip. All right, here's another clip. Speaking of what it is to be a man, ironically, we're asking women what it's like to be a man. Let's ask a man, a famous actor, Shia LaBeouf, who's had his own issues with growing up, what it is to be a man. Let's make sure the volume works.
Ready, set, playing. Oh, let's do it again. Are you ready for audio? I don't think. Oh, at the top, huh? Here. Ready, set, go.
Do you become a man when you get a driver's license? Like, what do we do? You're 16, we give you a driver's license. Okay, well, like, you get a job? Like, when do you become a man? You become a man when you become responsible for other people. And part of that is taking accountability. And so, like, I'm very new to this being a man thing, and I'm still not there, and I'm on a path. I grew up in a culture that told me going to war made you a man. Going to prison and coming back makes you a man. Making $1 million makes you a man, and it doesn't. And you don't know it till you've done all these things and realize, damn, I'm still a little fucking boy. Yeah. Or been around people who've been there a bunch of times. I don't know nothing about being at war like Kevin, but I know a bunch of soldiers that come back and are still fucking little boys. Can't wait to get back out. I know so many dudes can't wait to get back out. When do you...
Okay, cool.
Thought he lost his mind, but he must have found it.
Yeah, no,
I think he did. He's glowing up right now. He's got a relationship he's
coming together.
You're talking about somebody who has hit rock bottom. He's gotten out of Hollywood. He's been Patrick is like he loves that guy. He's like his favorite actor.
Yeah.
But there's something true to becoming a man. He said that basically when you have responsibility, right? When you have to be responsible for somebody, or you have dependence. I was a fucking boy in high school, straight up a boy. And after high school, I was a camp counselor. And next thing you know, I'm responsible for 50 kids.
Wow, you were a camp counselor.
Yeah, straight up.
Oh my gosh, claps for Adam.
Yeah,
claps for Adam.
Yeah. You guys, you're out there watching the show, you know.
He knows what he's doing.
But basically, I had to grow up. I was like, oh shit, I'm responsible for all these young guys. And I was 18. They were like 13. It wasn't like they were like 4-year-olds. Wow. They were 13-year-old like bar mitzvah boys. Like they, So the point is, I was like, oh shit, like I can't be a kid anymore. I need to be the man in this situation. So you have to be a leader and you have to be responsible for people and you have to make tough decisions and you have to basically say, dude, you fucked up. Let me talk to you for a second over here, bro. Hey, bro, I want to tell you, you really handled that situation well and I really respect you for that. And you know who to basically build up and you know who to knock down and you know to basically not embarrass in front of other people because he's going to cry. But when you start to become responsible for other people, other young men, and you become a leader, that is what adulting is for a man. If you're just a kid, I could like if I didn't go to become a camp counselor at 18 and I just gone right into college, I would have had a totally different college experience. I would have just been an 18-year-old kid. I played football. Next thing I'm on a football team, fucking around. Just you can continue being a boy, especially in society today. You can be a boy as long as you want. Now I don't have kids, right, that I know of, but but all my best friends have kids. My sister has a kid. That's like, I helped raise this kid. And there's something to be said about influencing the next generation for the right things to do. I noticed with my nephew, he likes to cheat. Okay? So we'll play basketball and he'll lie about the score. And he'll lie about like whether something happened. And we played a game one time and I said, let me ask you, Rory, I love this kid. I go, do you do this with your friends? He goes, what do you mean? I go, you're cheating right now. You know I'm not cheating. I go, you know that I'm winning 4-1. It's not 4-3. You have not made 3. Yes, I have. Rory, like, I go, if you're cheating with your uncle who's calling you out right now, do you do this with your friends? And he's like, well, yeah.
Aww.
And I'm like, well, why are you cheating with your friends? He's like, I just want to win. I said, so cute. I'm teaching him a lesson here. And I said, listen, let me say something, brother. If you're going to do this with your friends, they're not going to want to be your friend.
Yeah.
Okay? If you're the cheater of the crew, they're going to be like, yeah, I don't want to play with Rory. So I'd rather you lose, but fucking take it like a man than cheat and be that kid where all the kids are like, yeah, I don't want to play with this kid anymore. So it comes down to values, what we always talk about here, principles. And I said, listen, bro, choice is yours. If you want to keep cheating to win, have at it, okay? But if you actually want to do the right thing and grow up, whether you win or lose, you actually tried your ass off and you played the game, I implore you to do that. Right. Week goes by. He goes, Uncle Adam, I just want to tell you, I played and I lost. I lost 11-10, but I didn't cheat, okay? Aww. And next time, I'm going to win. Okay? But I'm not going to cheat anymore. And I said, fuck yeah, bro.
Just like that.
The 9-year-old. Fuck yeah, bro. But I had to teach him a lesson. So when you're accountable for people and you're a leader and you're basically responsible for people, whether it's a kid or counselors, or I was also a teacher. I was a 2nd grade teacher, 7th grade teacher. So like when you have to lead young people, whether you're, we have a lot of military people here, responsibility will make you a leader. Anyway, that's my rant over.
No, it's a great story because it literally shows you the power of responsibility and how terrible participation trophies are. Because when you tell somebody that you are, responsible for you, it's actually really empowering. It means that you can actually strive to do better. And that's so amazing. And the fact that, Shai was saying, you only become a man when you are responsible for people. So it's this emphasis on responsibility. And I find that that's so fascinating because politically there's like this division about, which party is the party of the responsibility party, right? And it's always like the left, which don't want people to be responsible for anything, whether it's your health, whether it's your diet, whether it's your relationships, whether it's how much money you have, don't be responsible for that because don't worry, we'll give you a social safety net. So this system at large doesn't want people to be responsible for themselves. And so it's funny because that's sort of like trickling down into what it means to be a man. And it really just tells men, you don't need to be responsible for anything. And so men never become men because of this idea that responsibility is so bad. But in fact, as your example shows, it's so empowering.
Thank you. You guys want to weigh in on this, on being a man in today's society?
Oh, yeah.
You were in the Army.
I absolutely was, yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, a couple things about the Army and male leadership, and I suppose just the lack of quality of male soldiers. So the general population thinks that being a soldier is this great achievement, but I was a soldier, and I could see looking at who gets to join, and honestly the only thing they needed to do to join the army is not go to jail and not be cognitively disabled, because the ASVAB is actually an IQ test. That's all you need to do to get in. And so this crisis of masculinity that you see in the general public, it's the same thing that's taking place within the military. And nothing grinded my gears more as a female soldier as when I had incompetent male leadership, because I can't look up to you as a woman, and I also can't look up to you as a soldier either. But a big marker of poor leadership in the military is dodging accountability. That's the number one telltale sign. Well, we're going to blame it on this person, this other person. But I think the military right now actually facilitates that. They're okay with an officer makes a mistake. Let's blame the senior enlisted instead of the officer being faced with the consequences. But I see a lot of people trying to be children for very long periods of time. Women freezing their eggs at 38. I am looking at you. I am looking at you, sis.
Sad.
Why push off responsibility when some of the greatest joys and happiness in life can be derived from responsibilities? Like, I look forward to the day that I get to be responsible for another human. I look forward to the day that I get to be a woman completely through motherhood and things like that. And I think that that's something that is sad on the male side of things too. I see a lot of young men who I think could be great fathers. And I know the system is corrupt, but at some point you got to try. I don't know what to tell you. But they could be great fathers, and they're opting not to have children. And that, to me, is a real indicator of the decline of society. People don't even want to have babies. Where are we at? Why are we like this? I mean, yeah, I'm going to grow up. Okay.
Aly
Sorry.
wants you to go ahead and make some babies.
Yes.
Sarah, you do a lot of video games. Like, what do you like? Explain what you do with video games. You do a lot of video content.
Yeah.
Okay. Video game content.
Gameplay tutorials, but they're more like sarcastic. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go out on record right here. Totally cool with a 12-year-old playing video games. Boys, I'm talking about. I'm okay with an 18-year-old playing video games. 25-year-old playing video games?
I don't think so. I love video games.
Hear me out, and then you could go. 38-year-old playing video games? I'm talking about men right now. I'm not attacking you.
As a hobby, or is like all
I'm
day?
just saying in general. Okay?
What if they're making money? A lot of money.
What
What about that?
Via video games?
Yeah.
Stop.
No, they
That's
do
point
have-
zero.
That's what. No.
Stop
Don't
it.
they?
Okay.
In
yes.
crypto, that's how the crypto industry is. You make a lot of money.
I
Axie
get that.
Infinity,
Because it's out there.
Play
That's
to
If that
earn.
is your career,
I don't want a video
then
game.
I am not disrespecting you.
Okay.
I'm talking about the guys
you mean.
who are just a general person, average person. They're doing an average job. You're an average person. And by the way, nobody wants to admit they're average, but most people are most people.
average.
If you're not average, you're above average. Your mom tells you you're the best. I believe you. However, if you're going home after your job and then you're going to go spend 3 hours playing video games, that's a problem, bro.
It's a no-go.
That's a problem, bro. That could be time spent on a side hustle, reading, investing your time, getting smarter in the gym, following content, whatever it is, but you're going killing zombies. In my opinion, that is a time waster of the highest proportion. I might be the asshole. I might have just ruined your day, but someone had to. My question to you is, Sarah, you deal with some of these young men. What's the average age of video gamers that you see? Do you have any idea?
I'd say like 13 to 20.
Okay, 13 to 20. Hey, the 13-year-old kids, keep doing what you're doing. The 30-year-old boy out there who's still in his pajamas in his mom's basement, and if we learned anything from Scott Galloway, the crisis among young men, 1 in 3 men under 30 have not had sex in the last year. I guarantee you a high percentage of those dudes are in their room playing video games. Just saying. Go get the bag. With that being said, let's open it up for super chats. I'm sorry if I offended the video game crowd out there. But I think it needed to be said. No?
No, I do agree with you. I think that that's part of the problem. It's like crypto, video games aside, because there's money to be made and there's a whole career in that aspect. But video games and porn is like the worst thing for men. You said, how do we inspire men to be better? Stop watching porn, stop playing video games, go to the damn gym, go make some damn money, go speak to women, learn how to become confident, learn how to understand the opposite sex. Because actually, one of the most attractive things about a man is a man that understands a woman. Even if he has no money, if he can understand like the nature of a woman and like play on that is really hot. So go do that. Go make yourself better. I think porn and video games are the worst thing for men.
There it is.
But if people love to play video games and like you enjoy it, like you've been playing it since you were a kid. I mean, that's me, and like
No, I get it.
I enjoy it. Like I enjoy that whole culture. If you're like wasting your time and not showing up to work and just, you know what I'm saying? Like that's different.
who we're speaking to.
Right.
Yeah, but that's different.
Yes.
And that's wrong. But like you can love video games. I mean, like I built my own PC. I have every console. Like I enjoy it. It's a hobby for me.
I get that.
But you're monetizing it.
Well, I'm monetized. I have an interior design career.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm
Got
saying?
it.
Like, everything I do with gaming and TikTok, that's just for fun.
Okay. I'd love to know how many of these video gamers are living paycheck to paycheck.
Facts.
And are overweight
Exactly, yeah.
and have not got
They're
any.
not all overweight.
I'm
These
saying
are
I'd love to know the
normal
stats, and I would love to know
Girl,
how many
normal
haven't
people are
gotten any
overweight.
in the last couple of years. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to super chats. We've got a lot more content to go. We've about an hour left. We appreciate you staying with us. We love you. We're here for you. Hope you didn't get offended. And subscribe to the channel. All that fun stuff. Nat,
Yes.
you got this thing. By the way, does anyone want to shout real quick?
Oh no.
You want one? You have it. Adam wants one. You have
I've
one.
already had one. Oh, good. Nat. But Sarah, you want another shot?
Sure.
Yes.
Allie, hook her up. We're going to get this girl talking.
Okay, so we've got
Nat, go ahead.
some super chats. We've got Christopher Harris. Thank you, Christopher. He said, Allie is such a freaking cutie pie. Thank you. And then we have Mike Sinatra, $50. He says, Sarah, your hypocrisy is showing, so it's okay for women who want older men, but it's weird for men that want younger women. No shade, but I've met 18 and 20-year-olds much smarter than you. Only difference is that you have more trauma other men wish.
Don't listen.
Who's they talking to?
Nobody.
Who's they
talking to?
Girl, that's
You're good.
that's YouTube. Welcome to
Yeah.
YouTube.
Then you have
YouTube.
Alan
talking
Sam. He said men have to be militant and stern with his dating standards because we live in a soft society and social media continues to ruin it. Then we have another one that says world is run by women and betas. Alphas
That's
get
correct.
canceled. And then we got another one, just showing love. If you haven't been told today, Nat, you're beautiful. And Sauce, you're the man. And I hope you're to be on that level in the coming years. We got another one. The whole phase makes no sense. It's harder to get a man to commit if hot girls are giving sex without commitment.
Facts.
The top men would become F boys. And then I think we had another one right here, and it says, just turned in and heard the talk about responsibility for like 10 minutes straight. Not one mentioned the authority to go along. It's like, yeah, boyos are responsible again for their own sake. It's fun. You don't need to have an incentive.
What did they mean?
I got pushback for that one.
What did he mean?
No, well,
Not too
okay,
sure.
because a lot of men are given responsibility without authority, right? And at the end of the day, I mean, it's true. When you look at family laws and things like that, like you can be responsible for kids, but then you're not necessarily responsible for like, I don't know, like the disciplinary stuff. You don't have the authority to do that. Like your wife won't give it to you or whatever baby
It's
mama.
the difference
I guess
between
you're
being a dad and a
dating.
father.
Right.
Anyone can be a dad.
Right, yeah.
It's very hard to be a father.
But I mean, I want to make it abundantly clear, like women that are looking for quality men who have masculinity to offer and are willing to take on responsibility, and women, you should give that man authority. I'm assuming that you would like to, if you want to be responsible for the outcomes of your entire life yourself as a woman and be independent, go ahead, be my guest. But for, I guess, the more feminine women out there, like we're willing to comply. And I know that that gets a bad rep. We're willing to be cooperative, and that would be my recommendation to women. I know that we have work to do ourselves, but you'd be surprised women are willing to do that work for that kind of guy. I do very much encourage responsibility with authority, and I know that that's something that I have in my marriage, but it feels good for me as the woman in two ways, right? Because if the outcome of the family is successful, then my husband's successful, therefore I am successful. But then if my husband fumbles the play, it's like, well, that's not necessarily my L. I'm not responsible for that one. So it's nice on a couple fronts there. So I get what he's saying.
Can I just add to that? I think that you're totally right. Women are totally and 100% willing to comply. Women will shit test men, right? So that means a woman will give you a difficult time as a man just to see if you can really step up to the plate, if you can really, protect her at all costs, right? It's what women will do because they need to know that, like, when the war comes, when the apocalypse comes, like, will you really be able to protect me? Right.
Yeah, you want to make sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think like women really, if you are the man, women will comply.
Oh, yeah.
That is 100% it. And like, that's what I want in my marriage anyway. Like, I'm not looking to put up a fight. I'm not looking to I'm not looking to be competitive. I don't want any of that. Like, honey, if you're the man, like, that's it. Whatever you say goes. And I think most women will.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, why
By
not?
the way, how long have you had that attitude for?
I mean, it's a new attitude because I think like I'm only in like my mid-20s, so it's like something that I've learned. And you know, I think like we spoke about earlier, I'm very close with my brother, and my brother has proven to me on so many occasions that he is correct when we debate something, right? So my brother has proven himself to be the man, in my opinion. And so when my brother Gideon says, Layah, we're doing this, I'm like, okay. Because I've seen, like, I've shit tested him, right? And so I know that he's right. So if Gideon says, Layah, we're going here, or Layah, don't do that. Honestly, if my brother says, Layah, change your shoes, I'll change them. I did the other day. I went to do a podcast with Iman Gaji, and Gideon was like, Layah, don't wear those shoes, wear those. I was like, okay. Gideon says, my brother told me to stop doing wings on my eyes, like the makeup. I go, okay. Because I trust his opinion. I comply with everything my brother says.
What you're saying is everyone needs a Gideon in their life.
My brother's the best.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the super chats. Nat, are we done? Let's move on to the next topic.
We're
going to do another super chat in like 15 minutes, so put your super chats in.
And make sure you guys like the video. We've got a nice group of people watching. Make sure you guys like the video, comment, subscribe, share, because we're about to get really juicy.
We're about to get juicy. All right, let's talk relationships. There's some drama. This is going to be a sports story, but you do not need to be a sports fan or even understand basketball to understand this story. But this was the biggest news story in the NBA. The NBA season's about to start. People know that I love the NBA. I have friends that play in the NBA. Like the whole thing. And here's a story that basically has been breaking the internet for the last week or so. And it involves Boston Celtics coach Ime Udoka and this cheating scandal, and what exactly is going on with the disgraced Celtics coach. So basically, here's the deal. All right, without getting involved in the drama, he's the head coach of the Celtics. So last year was his first year. The Boston Celtics, they're a basketball team. People play basketball in America, Layah. I don't know if you're familiar with this. This isn't football, or this isn't rugby, this isn't cricket. America.
It's handball.
Handball. There it is. Adorable. So he was the coach of the Celtics. In his first year there, he took the Boston Celtics to the NBA Finals. They lost eventually to Golden State Warriors, but basically he was a major factor in it. Fast forward, the season's about to start, and next thing you know, they start breaking news. Ime Udoka, the coach of the Celtics, suspended for the year. What? That's unheard of. You hear coaches get fired and they're gone. But yeah, you're going to sit this entire year out, and then we'll revisit you in 2023, 2024. And everyone's like, what the fuck is happening right now? And it turns out that basically he's married, kids, engaged, whatever it is, to a very famous actress, engaged, but they have kids together. They've been engaged for 7 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a red flag right there. Hello. And if you to Nia Long, if you've ever seen Friday, she's the cute girl that's running in the movie. Okay, so well, basically the story is this: is that all right? So he cheated on her. Okay, check. He cheated on her. All right, cool.
That's why he was suspended.
Yeah, it gets better. He cheated on her. He cheated on her with an employee of the Celtics who worked there. So, you know, inter-office relationships frowned upon. Now, he's married, kids, engaged, what have you, cheats on her with this girl. Now, here's where it gets juicy. She works for the Celtics. She's married to his boss.
Oh.
Okay. Her name was Kathleen Nemo Lynch. She's a staffer of the Celtics.
That's so bad.
That's why
she's married to the Celtics VP of Finance, the mother sucker that pays the bills.
He's an idiot.
Okay, to Patrick Lynch. And he's been hitting it for a year, apparently. Nice. So he's the coach of the Celtics. He's the leader of men. He took his team to the NBA Finals. And on the low, he's cheating with his wife. Bad, to begin with. Cheating on his wife with a woman who works in your organization. Very bad. Cheating on your wife with a woman who works in the organization who's married to a guy that you work for, the VP of Finance that runs the team, cuts the paychecks. triple bad.
Is it his boss's wife, basically?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's his boss's
Okay.
wife.
Yeah, we
Essentially,
got
yes.
it.
Vice president of finance.
Okay, the guy who cuts the checks, all right? You know, so I don't know the inner workings of the Celtics, but pretty much if you're the VP of finance, you're stroking some checks. So boom, breaking news comes out. Boom, 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 boom. Fired, suspended. Okay. He's making all the news. Should he be fired? This is a yes or no answer. We don't need to
Yes.
go. Okay, yes.
No.
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 No. Okay, so we have 1 yes, 3 no's. I'd like you to explain why he should be fired. But before we go there, what should happen to her?
Ooh.
She's not in the news at all. She hasn't lost her job. She still has a career there. She's got some explaining to do to her husband and for people that work for the Celtics. So, in my opinion, fuck yeah, he should be fired. He's been banging his boss's wife. How are you going to be the guy that's coaching the team? Like, talk about distractions. Like, they'll fire a coach for a 4-game losing streak in any sport, okay? It not working out, fired. Talk about the turmoil that's going on internally. So I'd like to know from a woman's perspective, A, why you wouldn't fire him, and B, what should happen to the woman that he was cheating with that works for the Celtics that is married to his boss. So let's go down the list here of how this could work. Nat,
This is
you
a
look like you're
hard
doing
one.
some mind wrestling
It's
over there.
hard because
What?
it's-
You said that he should not be fired. Explain.
Yes.
And what should happen to her?
The only
Go.
reason why I
Make
said-
it quick, though. Let's
Yeah,
not do a
yeah.
long thing about this.
The
Go.
only reason why I say no is because I don't know the details of both relationships. I don't know what each of them are going through. Now,
Let me just stop everybody here. You don't need to know any details. He's banging his boss's wife. They work in the same team together.
but what if they had this agreement like an open relationship, but it was private?
Right.
Then what?
Okay, so that's what you're saying.
That's the only reason why I would say no. Now,
Got it.
if you're taking that out of it, yeah, you should be fired. Like
Okay.
just simply because you lost a trust with somebody that you're working for.
Yes.
Like, how do you trust somebody after they've crossed the line? Now, if they were both in agreement, like, hey, we're in open relationships, then that's different.
Let's stop right here.
Okay.
This is not an open relationship.
Okay, so then, yeah, he
Okay,
should be
he's
gone.
engaged.
Okay,
Like
should be gone.
Nia Long is coming out there being like, I'm fucking gonna kill somebody.
Okay.
The VP
But
of finance.
what about the VP? What if he's like, we're in a
There's
relationship?
nothing like that. I appreciate that, but let's not go down that.
I'm just trying to, play
I
on
know
both
you're
sides.
basically.
I'm just trying
You're
to
basically
give
saying
just in case
there's got to be something more.
There's just in
Sarah,
casers.
you mentioned that he should not be fired. Why?
So let me get this straight. The coach
Yes, him.
was banging who?
His boss's
His
wife.
boss's
His
wife.
boss's
That
wife.
also works for the team.
I think that men have a better ability to separate emotions, and he's the coach of a team. And I think that's very important, right? So, like, I think that he could just, like, set those emotions aside and do his job, which is what I think the fans want, and then they deal with it. Like, if you fired him, like, mid-season or whatever, like, because of that, that's going to affect a lot more. And by the way, my headset went out.
Did it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get her headset working again.
But that's what I think.
Aly, you also said that he should not be fired.
No, absolutely not. It's about the value that he provides to the company. Does he provide results? You said that he was successful. He brought them
Correct.
to some kind of championship.
To the finals, yes.
To the finals, yeah. So I would say if the Boston Celtics, Boston?
Yes.
If they were to get rid of him, what other team would be willing to hire him? You know what I mean? Now, I will say I'm tired of these high value men picking the sloppiest women to sleep with. Like, go get an escort. But at the same time, he's getting condemned for all this stuff. He's been engaged to Nia Long for 7 years. There's a reason why she's not his wife. That's number one. Number two, like, this VP, go check your wife. I think she should be fired because I don't think she provides as much value as Ime Udoka. I think that would be the big difference there. I don't think the VP should be removed or whatever, the VP of finance.
So you're saying he should keep his job. The wife should be gone.
But how
It's
do you
about
keep
what
a
you
job with
provide.
somebody who lies to you? Like, say there's no open relationship. How do you, like, look at someone and be like, I trust you after you just slept with my wife?
It's about results, not trust. Can he make the team do what it does?
That's what his
yeah,
job
but
is.
how do you, in a situation, like, how do you say, all right, bro, you got my back? And then you're like, yes, but no. You know?
So I think I agree with both of you in terms of like it's about what kind of value he brings. Like I am still very pro-Trump regardless of the things that he says about women, just because like I think he's a great businessman and a great president, right? So I'm able to separate that. However, what I will say is like when you start bringing like like your sex life and your personal life into the workplace, it will inevitably affect the value that you can bring to the table. And I just think that's how it is. And I'm also very big on loyalty and trust. And from a personal point of view and having a good work culture, because clearly there is a team here, I only want to work with people that I can trust and people that are loyal. So I don't want a snake in the fields in my area. So you know, if somebody's doing something which is inappropriate and they are breaking the trust, then you're out, in my opinion.
Yeah, because then it also devalues like the team. You look at the team and you're like, oh, there's a whole bunch of cheaters on the team.
Exactly.
Then you're going to go like, oh, your players are cheaters.
Yeah.
And then it kind of trickles down to like, what do you want to be represented for? So that's why I would say yes. No, if there was like a side agreement, but I mean.
It's like bad. It creates like bad. That's exactly right. It creates bad culture within the team. Now the team is aware, is the value that he provides still going to be the same?
And how does the
Probably
team
not.
be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna listen to this coach after like you've been engaged for 7 years and you've been cheating on her?
Let me school you guys for a second. Let me break down, as the one guy on this show, on my show, let me bring you into how guys think about this. I know a lot of NBA guys. I don't know a lot of NBA guys that are faithful to their girl. Let's just say that. Okay?
But they're not exposed.
Hold on now.
Sorry.
Are they sleeping with their boss's wife
and engaged for 7 years?
Bingo. Here we go. You break guy code when you, like, if dudes are in a room, if this were a panel of guys and the cameras are off, right? We're all just talking about this. And I'm the mediator and I say, listen, bro, you're making millions of dollars. Okay? You're a good looking dude. You're a high value man. You're in the NBA. What the fuck are you doing banging a guy you works with wife?
Exactly.
What are you doing, bro? Like, what are you even thinking? Okay, and even, by the way, let's say you fucking tripped and fell and slept into, fell into some pussy. All right, I get it. One time. And I'm not even saying that's acceptable. But to continue this type of behavior, this is egregious. Pack your shit up, bro. You gots to go.
Would you fire her mid-season or after?
The season hasn't even started yet. This is preseason.
No, I'm saying, would you, if that was happening, would you wait?
Immediately.
You know, I would say if he was just cheating on his fiance of 7 years, which is ridiculous. If he was just cheating on his fiance with another woman, with another woman outside, fine, do what the hell you want. You're supposedly a high value man. Please enjoy. It's bringing it into the workplace. It's the guy code, the bro code. It's all of it.
So I have a question.
Hold on, real quick. Strike one, strike two, strike three. If you're only out after strike three. Strike one is you cheated on your girl. Happens all the time. Strike one. Strike two, you cheated on your girl with the girl who works for the company. Kind of shady. Strike two, you cheated on your wife, your girl, with the girl who works for the company, and she's married to the VP of finance. Ugh. You're done, bro.
So here's my question. So say he does cheat, but it's not with this lady. Should he and he gets caught? Yeah. Just some, I don't know, an actor or something.
No,
should he still keep his job?
100%. 100%.
Yes.
110%.
I don't know why.
That has nothing to do.
So why does the cheater of like, you're not showing that level of loyalty, why is that not valued the same?
Listen.
Because it's it's loyalty to the boss, right? It's loyalty to the company and the ethos of the company. Like I don't want a snake running through the fields of our work culture.
Wouldn't he still be a snake?
No, he would be a man that has options and can have options. It's what Adam said. It's like that bro code. You know, you're breaking that, and for me, that's what took this entire situation to the next level.
Let me extrapolate it to real life.
So it's internal. So the issue is
let me extrapolate it in real life.
Gotcha.
Let's say just say that we have a room of dudes right here. And Layah, and it's no longer Layah, it's Larry. Larry cheated on his girl. We all work in the same company. We're all here. We find out that Larry cheated. That affects none of us. What we would say is like, yo, Larry, maybe you just kind of got to be smarter. I don't know what to tell you. But we're still friends with Larry. Okay. Now, if Larry's banging, Eric's wife and they work together, you have broken some major
of course.
Can I give a better example?
Yes, give a better example.
So like,
what would you guys?
What would you wait? This is gross. Okay, what would you guys say if like Adam, you had an affair with Patrick's wife?
Stop it.
No, there you go.
We're not even going there.
There you go. No, but that's the point.
No, I just don't think we would find Adam's body. I just don't think we would find it. I think
Adam would hide his own
I'm not
body.
even going to entertain this conversation.
But that's the
Oh,
point.
now we're moving on to exactly.
That's the point.
That's the point.
That's the point.
Thank you.
Can
Thank
we,
you.
without being
Layah
emotional
just
for a
got canceled
second.
from the show.
Without being emotional for a
Yes,
second.
I get it.
Yeah,
I see what you're
we
saying.
see
That's
it.
exactly the point.
Thank you.
Correct. Correct.
There you
Correct.
go.
And that's why the strong reaction of no, this is not possible.
Yeah.
And that's why
I'm
this
glad I
guy
could prove the
who is
point.
suspended for a year will no longer be the coach of the
I think
Celtics a year later. Boom.
He's
it's
done.
so different.
Speaking of relationships, speaking of cheating, speaking of money, did you guys hear about Mackenzie Bezos?
Oh yeah.
Oh, this poor lady.
She hypergaming it up. She doing a couple things.
Okay. So you know who she is, everyone?
Oh, yeah,
Mackenzie
the
Scott
richest woman
Bezos.
in the world.
She's definitely up there. She was married to Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon. You know him. You've ordered his products. You know what's going on. She was married to him for 25 years. They got married when they were younger. No prenup. She ended up getting divorced from him. I don't know who divorced who. This was, let's say, 4 or 5 years ago. She ended up walking away with $37 billion. She, at that point, became a top 25 richest people in the world. At that point, I think Jeff Bezos was worth over $100 billion, and she got 37 of it. He might have even been worth 150 billion at that point. She helped him build his company, supposedly, whatever. She was married for 25 years. She deserved some money, no doubt. She got a nice chunk of change, 37 million. Then Bezos starts dating a girl, Lauren Sanchez. Cool, all good. They're still dating, not married. Mackenzie right here ends up meeting a guy, a school teacher, a science teacher named Dan Jewett, science teacher. They get married. They've been together for 2 years. They just called it off. They have a divorce. They have a prenup. Okay. In the meantime, she's been, I don't know what she's worth. I think more than $37 billion because that was a few years ago, and then Amazon stock has gone up. So let's say she's worth $40 billion. Let's say, if not more. She's given away half of it so far. $20 billion. Kudos. Philanthropist. Amazing. Awesome person. Giving to charities. Respect. Let me read from stats for you, just so we can extrapolate this. So people are going to be like, bro, what are you talking about? Like Bezos, $100 billion. What are we talking about right here? Let's just talk about marriage and second relationships and prenups for a second. The average marriage lasts 8 years. 41% of first marriages end in divorce. 60% of second marriages end in divorce. And 73% of third marriages end in divorce. So basically, there's a reason they call it the 7-year itch, because after 7 years, you're like, it's time to scratch something over here. And then the more and more you get married, the more you're like, divorce, divorce. So the question here goes to the concept of prenups. I know we've discussed this, okay? So let me start with you, Aly. When you got married, did you sign a prenup?
Oh, I was supposed to. Yeah, but then the war in the Ukraine kicked off, so he got really worried, and so we kind of scrambled. But, I mean, yeah, I suppose my husband would be considered to be in a vulnerable position. But I'm ready to sign anything at any point in time if he drafts a postnup.
There is something called a postnup.
Right,
yes.
I've always been prepared to sign. I don't have a problem
So you
with
can
it.
thank Vladimir Putin for not having to sign a prenup. Is
Yeah,
what you're saying.
I know.
Thanks, Vlad.
Yeah.
Thanks,
but I mean, I would if he showed up tomorrow and was like, "Hey, babe, sign this," I'd just
You
say
would?
less. Yeah, I don't
Straight
have a
up.
problem with it. No, I mean, maybe that's why he hasn't done it. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. If your man has anxiety about like finances and you taking half his stuff, which a lot of women do, and you want to be with him, then just sign it because you get to keep all of the resources if you just stay married. I think it actually keeps a woman committed.
If what?
If she signs a prenup, I think she's got more skin in the game.
Okay. Nat, let's do a poll.
Yeah.
To all our friends out there who are married or are planning on getting married, I assume most of you guys are men, even women, success. How do you feel about a prenup? Yes, I would want a prenup. No, I'm good. I don't need to sign a prenup. I would love to hear that answer. Layah, I know you have strong opinions on this topic. I know that you are the extraordinary woman. You're not the ordinary woman, so nobody assumes that you're average. So what are your thoughts on prenups?
I understand why somebody would want a prenup. I think, now this is just my cynical point of view, I think most people are inherently like selfish and bad, unfortunately. And so there are a lot of women who will definitely marry men just for their money. And the man isn't very interesting, so she'll lose sexual interest in him, cheat on him, and then she'll get a divorce and she'll, you know, have the kids and have all his money. So I understand, right? But I don't know enough about prenups to understand like what kind of nuance there is to it. So an example is, if I get married, or when I get married, the better term is when I get married, you know, and if my husband says to me, Layah, I don't want you working, you don't need to work because I will provide for us, okay? I'm like, okay, that's an interesting offer, definitely. Like, if you don't want me working because you can afford both of us, then why not, okay? Then I won't work, fine. But now that leaves me in a vulnerable position, because I'm like, well, what if, you know, in 10, 20 years time, something happens and, you know, we're not together anymore? It's like, well, I've just sacrificed my money maker, you know, for this marriage, and now I'm like on the streets and I'm broke, right? So I don't know whether there's a prenup which sort of says, you know, you get X amount. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
You can do that.
There are prenups
Okay,
are
then
fabulous.
It's not all or nothing. You can build in different clauses.
Then I think a clause and nuance to a prenup is important, because ultimately if a man says to a woman, I don't want you working, and then 10 years later he just leaves her and she's like, damn, I've got nothing, that's not fair. So I think, nuance is required.
Well, I think 80% of marriages or divorces are initiated by women.
Yes.
And the more educated they are, I think
It
goes
can be up to
90%.
90%. It's a reference
Shout out
range.
to your friend Pearl.
Right, right.
I learned that from her when she was on here. But so initially, gut reaction, you don't want to sign a prenup.
No, I understand. I'm just saying, I think nuance is required. And in
Right.
our initial conversation, I don't know about, what do I know about prenups? Do you know what I mean? I've never
Right.
been married. What do I know?
I think that's the problem. That's the problem, is like most women don't know that they can advocate for themselves with a prenup and a postnup. But I think a lot of men are full on themselves because they think that they have a net worth getting a prenup over. A prenup is going to cost. It's going to cost you several grand. And I'm sure the more you're worth, it's going to cost even more than that. So my husband has a reason. This man spent his 20s, 30s, 40s to have those resources, and so it would make sense to guard that. But also, I would say I think a lot of women approach marriage with fear, because if, like you're talking about, 10 years later he decides not to. Well, if you're a good wife and you give him kids and things like that, and for some uncontrollable reason he ends up wanting to initiate a divorce, like why wouldn't he take care of you? Is kind of my question. I would think that he would. You're the mother of his kids.
You know, you are correct. However, I think that we have to always be careful in life, and like you should always, think you never know what could happen. You always have to be careful. Like, I work in the Bitcoin space, and that's all about like having a backup plan. Don't rely on anyone. The government could come and fuck you, basically. So like, I'm all about just survival and protecting yourself, and knowing that you're gonna be okay.
Sara, one day you're gonna meet a man. He's gonna sweep you off your feet, and he's gonna ask you to marry him, and he's gonna want you to sign a prenup.
I think that if a man has worked all that time and that protects his own assets, like if I put myself in his shoes, I would be like, okay, I would want someone to sign a prenup too. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It's like I just worked the past X amount of years. I think that's fair. I mean, I'm with her. Like, I don't really know much about prenups either, but I was telling her earlier, like, one of my very dearest friends, she's married. She gave him kids. She was a perfect wife, and she's an amazing woman. And he's cheating on her. He's going to leave her. And they didn't sign a prenup, so he's trying to, like, leave her with nothing. And it's like, I don't know much about prenups.
No.
Maybe they protect both. Maybe, I don't know.
Well,
but
you bring up a perfect
I see the
point.
man's side.
You bring up a perfect point. If at any point in the relationship, the woman checks out, cheats, wants to move on, and there's no prenup, she could take that dude for all he's fucking worth, assuming that he's making the money. Okay, or I won't say all, I'll say half. I have plenty of successful guys in my life, older than me, that have been married for X amount of years. They're paying their women stupid money. Now, granted, they had kids with these women, and there's a fair and balanced approach to it. I get it. They ain't happy paying 10 grand a month to the ex. I can guarantee you that. At the same time, I can completely empathize with a woman's perspective, where she's like, look, like what Layah said, you want me to give up my career, raise the kids, and, dedicate my life to being a housewife or just being a mother.
Which we're happy to do.
Which you're happy to do, but you want to go start fucking the maid, and like now I'm stuck like Chuck and I got no prenup. So the point is this. I see both sides of the equation. Most relationships, this is a very uncomfortable conversation to have. But if you just read the stats, right? What percentages of marriages last? 41% of marriages end in divorce. Flip a coin whether your marriage works or not. 60% of second marriages, even more. 73% of third marriages. Based on numbers, you're going to want to protect yourself from a man or a woman. That's my
I
friendly
think a lot
advice
of
to you.
girls look to get married to get that possible alimony or whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
It's, I mean, I've been
I had a conversation-
cocktail
Thank you.
hours with girls, and I've heard them talk about this, and I think that's gross. I mean, marry someone you love, or don't get married. Like, don't get married.
Let me
for
tell you
money.
something. I'm not going to name names. I haven't been naming names this whole show, but I had a very uncomfortable conversation with, let's just say, a girl I know who was doing maybe not so nice things in their relationship. And I said, let me tell you something. If I'm that dude, your ass is out the fucking door. Peace.
What's she doing?
Can't really explain that, but just understand that she broke some rules. That I said, if I'm that dude, pack your shit up, bitch. And I straight up said this to her face. And she goes, well, you know what? Sometimes it's cheaper to keep her. I said, and I go, and that is why I'll have a fucking prenup, okay? Because I've spent my last 20-something years working to become a millionaire and have money in the bank. And that type of attitude, that don't do it for me, baby.
My thing is, I mean, I don't know the difference between like wealthy or rich, whatever. My husband makes more than enough in the Midwest for me to stay home and things like that. But it's like, if you're in a relationship with that kind of guy and you're doing right by him, I feel like he typically gives you the credit card, no questions asked. And then like, if you get out of line, he's going to be like, wait a minute, like give me that credit card back.
Yes.
But you're more than happy to share with a woman who's doing her part.
Yeah.
There's repercussions for your actions. All right, before we move on to the next topic, something I always say, some women out there will turn millionaires into billionaires, and some women will turn millionaires into motherfucking broke boys, okay?
Yeah.
Choose wisely, my friends. Just like every single financial products or commodities out there, there's assets and liabilities. Get yourself an asset, not a liability. Okay, we'll open it up to Super Chat at the end. We're going to talk a little bit of money right now. Layah, I'm going to need your expertise on this subject, okay? Before we get into the nuts and bolts of money, let's watch this clip from a comedian you might have heard of by the name of Chris Rock, okay? Volume, please, production.
And me. Okay, I'm gonna play.
Only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under the condition that he provides something. Okay? When you meet a new girl, what do your friends ask you? What she look like? Ladies, when you meet a new guy, what do your friends ask you? What does he do? What the fuck does that do that can help you out? Can this motherfucker facilitate a dream or not? Only
That is so
True or false,
I love
Layah?
that. Oh, it's so true. I mean, as they say, men have to become, women can just be. It's so true. You know, it's why you know, men are shipped off to war. It's why the women and the children are protected first. I think society, despite, you know, what feminists say, I think society values women and children inherently. And not men. Men are disposable to society, 100%.
The Titanic's sinking, women and children on the rafts,
That's
on
so
the boats.
terrible.
Yeah.
And then men, you know,
God.
good luck out there, buddy. Hope you can swim, Leo.
Yeah, completely accurate.
Yeah.
Terrible.
No,
Is this accurate or not?
It's absolutely accurate, and I'm okay with it. Like, the world is sexist. You know, there's going to be times where I'm going to be sexually objectified, and then men are going to be reduced to their wallets. That's just what it is to walk in this world as a man or a woman. But I mean, I think I'm more okay being cutthroat about it because I'm willing to do what it takes to make a provider comfortable in providing for me, to make him feel like I'm grateful for him. I mean, I don't know, no matter what it takes, but it's hard to stay in love with a broke man. Have you tried? Have you tried? If you got to go to the food pantry, you're resentful.
And this is why we do the Soscast on Valuetainment Money, ladies and gentlemen. People say, why do you talk so much about dating and relationships? You think money just lives in a fucking vacuum?
Yeah.
I know.
Okay? It goes hand in hand with
You
relationships.
can't even buy me ramen. I'm supposed to love you. Get out.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Okay, she's about to get worked up right now. Sarah, you must have some strong feelings on this. Give me something, girl. When Chris Rock says this, is he accurate or no?
Yeah. No, I think the pressure like on men is like a lot. Absolutely. But I agree with her. Like, you become more feminine when they do that role for you. But I mean, like, for all that pressure to be put on them and their worth, no, that's gotta be hard.
Listen, women are judged on their beauty.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be very clear with my words here. That's external beauty and internal beauty.
That's
okay?
Correct.
Now, it's not just the looks. Believe me, I've grown up in Miami South Beach. There's supermodels that I've hung out with where I'm like, you are very ugly on the inside, okay? And there's nice, sweet girls where I'm like, you are adorable inside and out. And there's a major difference, okay? Men, yes, look good, feel good, work out, whatever. But money and status and income and wealth and all that is paramount to a man in a relationship, okay? Because you can show me the hottest dude in the world. I love asking these questions to women. This was like one of the first questions I ever did when we started the show. And I'd ask these questions to all the girls I know in South Beach. A or B answer. Don't give me some bullshit ass, well, can this guy? No. You can either be with a hot ass dude who's broke and lives with his parents. Broke. Can't keep a job. Hurting. Hot though. Okay? Or a rich ass dude. Life is good. You don't have to do shit. Life is great. You're driving whatever car, house, shop, whatever. But he's gross. Like he's not good looking. He's kind of sloppy. Who you picking? And I watch women's mind melt, and they're like, "But like, can the good looking guy have money?" No. Rich and sloppy, good looking and broke.
No, I pick neither.
No. So this is what women try to do.
I don't want to pick it either.
Yes.
You don't want to either?
No,
Okay.
like just date a man.
I
in
know
his
you don't want to
50s.
pick, but you have to pick one.
If I
Guys, this
You
isn't
had
real
to pick
life.
one. You
This
had
isn't
to.
real life.
I know.
Like nobody has a gun to your head.
I'm just trying to think,
For
like-
the sake of this
I'm trying to
conversation,
think.
pick one.
I'm trying to think, like, do I care about the bedroom? Do I care about my offspring? I feel like I'd probably care about the bedroom, so I guess I'll go for the hot guy, but I'm just shallow, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I appreciate
I
the
guess
honesty.
if I
By the
have
way,
to.
you're married to Ted.
Oh, Tom.
Tom, you're married to Tom.
Yeah.
So you're still married to Tom. This is a hypothetical. It ain't true.
No, I
We're
know.
good.
Yeah.
Layah, go.
I have no idea.
Pick one, Layah.
They both sound terrible.
I know.
Adam.
That's why
I
we're
know.
They both
asking.
sound terrible.
6-pack or 6 figures? What you got?
Okay, because they both sound terrible, I'll take the 6-pack.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, Sarah, you're
Are
living.
you in love with them both?
No,
You don't love them, but there's no love involved.
Listen,
You see how girls try to qualify everything? They can't just give an answer.
One
if it was
makes
love-
you one
This is what
makes you
girls
want to
do.
throw up. One makes you want to throw up, and the other
But you're
one,
thrown up in a palace.
right? The
One
other
gets you wet, but you're at his parents' house.
So if there's no love involved, then it's the same amount of emotion for both.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
It's an obvious that you would go for the wealth. If there's no love involved,
Here it is, ladies and gentlemen.
there's no love involved.
Yeah, but like one makes you want to throw up, and then the other one makes you just
You're
like
thrown
blush.
up in a Rolls Royce.
I'll throw
though.
up, yeah.
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I
Nat,
can't help
who's
it.
your pick?
That's a hard one. I would pick. It's just cringy to think about. I would pick. Can I skip this?
No, you have to answer.
So a rich gross guy, or
I can't believe we have to ask the question again. This is what,
Right.
guys,
I'm so
gentlemen,
sorry.
this is
a
how
hot guy at home.
Yes.
Think about who you've picked in the past. Like, we've all probably done it. You know what I mean?
I mean, I've dated a broke guy, but like
Was he
that
hot?
was fucking horrible.
Yes.
Like that was traumatizing.
Who's your pick, young lady?
Wait, because he was broke or because he was just a piece of shit?
I think both.
Oh, okay.
I would pick. My heart's racing. I don't know. I would pick maybe.
Just pick the 6-pack.
That's what I'm saying.
I would pick the 6-pack and then try and get him to, get himself together.
Oh my God.
But
Gentlemen,
I would pick the old
yes.
man if he's like about to die, and then just secure the bag and then find me a real one.
By the way,
What if
There
he
you
got a prenup?
I
By the
would
way-
sign it. I would not sign that.
exactly. I
Like,
want
you're
you
gross.
gentlemen out there to realize how much these women struggled to just pick a hypothetical answer to this
Because
question.
But if there was love
Because you
involved,
have to
I could
Stop
make
it,
that hot
ladies,
guy move
stop
You
it.
up.
have to
Okay,
paint the
Nat,
picture.
Ask me that same question, but just change it to women.
Okay,
Go.
would
Oh,
you
that's
pick
easy.
a gross, rich
Yes.
lady,
Yes.
or would you pick? Oh well, you're gonna pick
Go.
the hot
Keep-
girl with no job.
Come here, you
because-
broke bitch. You're living with
Yeah,
me now. We're
because
good.
but you're the
It's
So
provider.
that's the difference
You're
between men and
providing.
women.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's different.
Oh my god!
Because not only would I do it, I've already done it. Okay,
Yeah,
attractive
that's how
women.
guys
You're,
date.
you're living with me now. Okay.
Let me matchmake you, Adam. Let me try.
Thank you. I'm good. But the point is this.
That was so
you saw
cringy.
how quickly I answered that, and most
Right.
men would answer the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Well,
girls
it's
are doing
different. No.
acrobatics
It's
in your
different.
head.
Because
It's
the
totally
habits of a
different.
guy that lives
Yeah.
at home and
I
he's
give
out with
you-
his parents are disgusting. A guy that's like lazy, like I can be
Wait, I
There's
need
a
to give you. I
reason,
need to give
though.
you the equivalent scenario.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
would you rather a beautiful, gorgeous 20-year-old woman, right? She's so gorgeous, right? She has a kid. Or would you like the 35-year-old woman who has no children but is also still really, really gorgeous? And is also and is ready to comply with you and is ready to, go
Good
actually
question.
older. Let's go a little bit older because
Yeah.
you are what,
Give him, like,
40.
40.
Yeah, let's go older.
Yeah,
let's
let's
go, like,
go older.
45.
Let's go 39. Let's go 39, right?
I'm
give
gonna
it
say
that
yes.
45-year-old
Well,
lady.
my answer is easy. I want to have kids. So if the 39-year-old can't give me kids, then I'm
No,
good.
she can. My mum was 38
Yeah.
when I was born, so let's say
I'm
38.
not starting a relationship with a 39-year-old. Okay,
No,
if you went to
fair.
high school the same fucking time I was at high school, you could be my friend, you could be my pen pal. We ain't dating. I'm sorry.
I think there's a reason that we gave the answers that we did. I mean, for the 6-pack ladies and things like that. I was in a long-term committed relationship with someone where I wasn't physically attracted to them at all, and it was like waking up every day and being reminded that I'm slowly dying. So like, yeah, I'd rather go for the guy that thrills me.
Yeah, but you can just take the car, baby, and disappear.
Well,
Okay.
I'm just talking about like the whole 5 minutes of alpha trumps 5 years of beta. That's
my
true.
God.
Like I want to feel alive, not like I'm dying.
I feel like
I'm
Rolo
sorry.
is in the room with us right now. I feel like Rolo is. It's like
I know. Hey,
Shout out to
Rolo.
Rolo. All right, real quick. Let's talk a little bit of money, and then we'll move on to the final topics of the day. Let's pull up this article. Layah, I'm going to use your expertise in the Bitcoin space.
Sure.
Being from the UK.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on with the pound? NFTs. So let me kind of set you up, and then you just go. Okay?
Okay.
Number one, how about this is on valuetainment.com. By the way, we've got an amazing website with amazing articles with amazing writers.
Yes.
Shout out to our
Please
team
connect
over there.
with our community. We
Check
got
it
a lot of
out.
stuff
Who
in
wrote this
there.
article, by the way?
This is by Mr. Tom Zenner.
Tom Zenner,
Ooh,
Bomb
my
Zenner.
accent came out.
Oh, yeah. All right. So how bad are the world's economies right now? Well, Bitcoin is actually looking solid in comparison. Let me take a look at what's going on in the market right now. This is going to take 3 seconds. Bing, bing, bing.
It's probably at what, like
Says
18
Bitcoin is not looking
or
as
19,000.
unstable.
Stock market is now
Staples.
under 30,000 for the first time in a few years. Okay. The S&P is almost 3,600. Not good. NASDAQ's down. Russell 2000 down. Everything's down. Bitcoin is still hovering around 20 grand. Okay.
Yeah.
Things
up-
aren't good.
It's up 6.3% the past 7 days and getting closer to the
No.
$20,000
Yeah, I mean it's been around
mark.
20 for that's not a great number for Bitcoin, especially since it was near 70 less than a year ago. All right, so and then on top of that, go to the next article. We can pull this up real quick about NFTs. How about to all of our NFT fans out there?
I saw Patrick
NFT
post this.
frenzy fizzles as trading volumes collapse 97%.
Thank God.
Okay, okay, that's meaning like you had $100, now you got $3.
Good.
That's how that works. Okay. And then, I used to have a lady friend that lived in the UK. And when I would go there, it wasn't exactly easy to pay for things because the pound was basically double the dollar. We can turn that off.
I don't know what's playing.
No.
I don't know what's going on.
Something's playing in the back and it's not me.
Guys, kill the volume. Production team, kill the volume. There's something playing.
Is it your phone?
That was my phone.
I was like, there's a ghost in it.
That's checking the stock market. Sorry about that,
no
guys.
one gets fired today.
Nobody gets fired.
Production
Jorge, I'm
team.
looking right at you, bro. You almost got the. Anyway, Layah, make some sense of what's going on with Bitcoin, with the dollar, with the pound, with NFTs. If you can just give us kind of like a 2-minute high level understand, go for it, Layah.
Oh my God, there's so many questions.
You
okay.
wrote a book called Undressing Bitcoin. So get undressed.
Wait. What do you want to know specifically? Bitcoin or the pound? Like,
I want to
just
know
be a bit more
Bitcoin and
specific.
crypto and NFTs, minute, dollar, market, pound, another minute. You got this.
Okay, so Bitcoin right now obviously is massively down. It's down from its high of $69,000, which was back in November last year. So I'm still very bullish on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the only asset right now which looks interesting to me. There's a limited supply, which is very important because the reason that we're in this mess right now is because they were printing endless amounts of money. So that's really important. With regards to where the market could be going, I look at history. So the last bull market, we saw a correction of 80%. So we saw it from $20,000 down to $3,000. That's 80%. So if I was to use that and predict what the bottom of this market could be, I would say if the high is 69K, it would come down to around $13,600. However, globally, things are a massive mess right now. There's still a war going on in Europe with Russia and Ukraine. We're seeing endless amounts of money still being printed. We now have an energy crisis, which means that like things are very bad, basically. Inflation is going crazy. So I would expect more black swan events to potentially bring Bitcoin even lower, maybe around $10,000. But these are amazing buying opportunities.
100%.
I'll be buying at this level. Do you want me to go on to the pound now?
Yeah, what's going on with the pound?
Okay, so the pound, like the euro, is absolutely crashing against the dollar. So usually the pound is at like, I think like £1 would buy you $1.30. Now £1 will buy you almost $1, which is absolutely insane. And again, this is because they are the Federal Reserve is increasing interest rates. So that strengthens the dollar. That's quantitative tightening, kind of reversing what they previously did. And that's what's happening. Everything is artificially induced. The energy crisis, everything in the UK as a result. They're printing more money to try fix the issue which printing money did, which printing money caused. So it's a mess right now. I really expect that the euro, the pound, and the dollar will all hit 1 for 1. And then we all, this is my conspiracy theorist now, we all get onto one global currency, which is the dollar. So now we're all on one global currency. And once we're all on the same currency, remember, if you control the money, you control the world. We now have one central bank which controls the entire world. And then they crash the dollar. So they fuck us all, basically, and move us onto something called a central bank digital currency.
That's how I was just going to go, if they're going to go to these CDCs or whatever.
CBDC, so central bank digital currency. So this is basically, it's like a cryptocurrency, but it's not, because it's going to be entirely centralized, probably the Fed if it becomes the dollar. It'll be entirely centralized, which means that they can completely control the money. They can program it. So if for whatever reason you hold the wrong opinion, you say the wrong thing on social media, you become an Andrew Tate, whatever it is, it's much easier to shun you from society because they can control your money. So they can program it. Sorry, Andrew, you're too masculine for us. You're too toxic. We'll just program your money so you can't get that flight back to Romania. You can't get that flight wherever it is. That's basically what they're doing. So that's my overall take, and that's why I'm forever bullish on Bitcoin, because the money is non-confiscatable. So if you don't get your vaccine, it doesn't matter. We won't confiscate your money like Justin Trudeau did, the tyranny in Canada, the tyrant of Canada. Bitcoin's non-confiscatable, limited supply, decentralized, so they can't switch the network on and off again.
And tell people what happened in Cyprus,
In Cyprus,
8 years ago.
In Cyprus, in 2013, you had the Cypriot haircut, which was basically because they needed to bail out the second largest bank in Cyprus. In order to do that, they basically confiscated the money of people who had over 100,000 euros in the bank. I think they confiscated around 45 or maybe 47.5%, I can't really remember the number, of their money. So people woke up one day to have their money gone because those at the top made terrible calls. The second largest bank needed to be bailed out, and so people had to pay for it, and that is disgusting. They confiscated their money. Money is the fuel. Money is the energy which fuels your life. Without freedom of money, you have freedom of nothing. So that's why I'm forever bullish on Bitcoin, and I definitely think it's going to go back up when the bull run hits. And I think that will be from 2024 onwards, after the halving event.
That's what I keep hearing, 2024. By the way, if you like what Layah had to say, give her just a freaking round of applause on the internet and subscribe to her channel,
Smart girl.
which is down there below, the Layha Heilpern channel.
Heilpern. You try so hard and you never get it.
I try to do the accent. Heilpern. I've got things with the
cool.
Heilpern.
Me too, but I'm carrying it through. I'm doing all right.
We're good. Anyway, give her a shout out. Show her some love. She knows what she's talking about. But it's very, it's one of those things where I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm more of a skeptic of anything. But if you've seen what's happened with Andrew Tate, if you've seen what's happened with these Canadian truckers, if you've seen some of these stories, they're only conspiracy theories until they start to happen.
They're spoiler alerts.
Yeah.
They're spoiler alerts.
There you go.
I prefer the term psychic as opposed to conspiracy theorist.
Well, psychics also kind of have a bad name. If
Yeah,
you remember Miss Cleo.
It's
Miss Cleo. Awesome. Thank you for that. Anyway, guys, we're about, I don't know, maybe we go 10 more minutes, a couple more stories. I appreciate that. This is a story that we've talking about
yes.
for like a month now.
Good time.
And I actually think it's a decent time. You know, we're in the money game right now. So if you guys want to understand money a little bit better, basic money stuff, not high-end NFTs, cryptos, all that kind of stuff like that. Here's something that we wrote here on the article on valuetainment.com. If we can scroll down so that people can see it, they're basically saying there are 7 money personality types. So I'd love to play a game. Ooh. I'd love to see what you ladies think you are. And you guys in the audience, as I read these out, let us know in the chat. Oh, I'm a number 2. Oh, I'm a number 4. Oh, I'm a number 7. I'd like to know sort of if there's a uniformity out there. And be honest. Don't bullshit us, okay? We'll find you, okay? Gideon will go find them. We know.
I'm sure he will. He's probably watching
All
now.
right, so here are the 7 personality types, and you can find out in more detail on valuetainment.com. All right, number 1 is the compulsive saver, okay? This is a person who's saving and saving and saving and saving and saving. They don't like to spend. By the way, not so much a bad thing. Almost half, 45% of Americans have nothing in their bank accounts. 25% have less than $1,000. So you know how I feel about this. Save that money. Number 2 is the compulsive spender. They keep spending even if they're in debt. Spend with no mind for actually their fiscal solventness. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 1, the saver. Number 2, the spender. Number 3 is the compulsive moneymaker. They're driven to earn more money. It's debatable whether money makes you happy or not, but that's the compulsive moneymaker. Number 4 is the person who's indifferent to money. A lot of times these people are well off. Their parents pay their bills. They've kind of been born with a golden spoon or silver spoon, either one. But they're not an earner or a doer, okay? And that can get very ugly if you end up losing some of that money, okay? Number 5 is the worrier. The worrier is in a constant state of panic, anxiety, and stress regarding money. Is that you? They're constantly worrying. They're a worry ward. You've heard that. Number 6 is the saver splurger, meaning they save, blow it all on a trip. Save, go buy a purse, all right? So that doesn't really tend to end well for people that save, spend, because there's always going to be something that happens in your life that you ran out of money. And number 7 is the gambler. Okay, these are people who are like day traders type of thing. They go through extreme highs and lows. They get rich quick, but then they lose it all. Okay, so think of a casino. Think of day traders. A lot of wins, a lot of losses. Okay, and then it gets really crazy. And the worst of it is that when it gets out of control and they tap into, let's say, retirement savings or a kid's college fund. It gets very ugly. So, ladies, and I'll go last. Okay. And by the way, you might say, well, I'm definitely that and a little bit of this. So I'll give you that. But you can only pick 2. Okay? You can say this is number 1 and this is number 2 to me. Of these 7 money personality types, which one do you identify with the most? Layha Heilpern.
Woo, you got it. So I'm definitely the saver. I think that's just like the woman, the feminine in me. But I'm also a worrier. I don't lack the confidence to make money, so that's why I'm like not so much the worrier. But I definitely worry about like financials. I'm always in preparation mode. I'm always thinking ahead, and that's why I'm in crypto. I'm always thinking ahead, but I'm the saver. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so you're the saver and the worrier. So you're a 1 and you're a 5. Aly. Which one are you of these 7?
I'm pretty far removed from money right now. Just like the state of my marriage. It's like I don't even know how money works anymore.
Okay, so you're a number 4. You're indifferent.
No, I don't think I'm I would say like I'm the gambler because I like to live my life high risk, high reward. Sometimes I make pitches to my husband. I'm like, hey, if we spend this amount of money, this might benefit my channel. What do you think? And if he thinks that it's worth it, I mean, we're pretty much willing to spend what it takes to be an entrepreneur. I know that. And then I would say on the flip side, I do compulsively tend to buy coffee. So I would say the gambler and the compulsive spender.
By the way, have you done the math? How often do you buy coffee?
Oh, no.
I don't like to think about it.
Aly, we're going to have an intervention now.
All right.
How often do you buy coffee?
We'll do every other day, and it's $5 a cup.
So
probably.
that's $15 a week.
Yeah.
Have you done the math on that?
Well, it gets worse the more you multiply it through the year.
That's how math works, baby. Anyway, do the math on it. We'll spare you
It's like several hundred a month. It's like, it's a problem. I'm like, oh, why?
It's rent.
At least you
I
drink
know.
it.
All right. Well, so you're the gambler, and you spend it on the coffee. You know, there's worse things you could spend on. Sarah, of these 7 money personality types, which one are you?
I'd say the saver splurger,
Yeah.
but not so much in the splurge.
Okay.
Like I don't go on like binge splurges.
Save,
but
save.
It's
Spend a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say
Okay.
that.
That's me.
Yeah, I know that's you also.
That's me too.
Save.
Yeah, I'll save. But if like,
Something comes
especially
up
if
that
I'm
you
doing
love.
something for somebody, I'll
Yes.
splurge.
Got it.
But I do save. but I'll
Yeah,
splurge.
you know.
I
the-
want to be. I feel like I'm a bit of a splurger, actually.
Like, you do have a nice
Think about it,
bag.
like you
Something
save
you
your money,
love.
but like if you find a reason to like drop a good amount of money on
Yes.
something, like you'll drop it.
I'm taking
Yeah.
my family for dinner tonight. That makes me
See,
a bit of
there you go. I
That's
think
nice.
you're a saver
No, that's you
splurger,
being
honestly.
sweet.
Yeah.
That's you
Okay.
being sweet.
I think that's a happy
Nice.
medium. Now I want my man to be not that, but
All right. Well,
That's just
I
me.
am definitely.
Adam, what are you?
I am 100% number 3, the compulsive moneymaker. I'm just
yes.
trying to make that motherfucking money and make stack. And then obviously my brand is Save That Money. So I've been very good saving money, but I always say that everyone has the same big 3 expenses. I'm going to go on a little rant over here. Everyone has a budget. Everyone needs to have a game plan for their money. There's offense and defense, just like in sports. And the better your offense, you know, the worse your defense can be. And the worse your offense, the better your defense needs to be. So I tend to have a very high offense and a very good defense. So that has enabled me to save a lot of money. But I will say that I'd rather have a good offense and learn the defense, stop limiting your expenses, than being capped at a certain amount and then having a good defense. So if you make 250 grand a year as an example, and you have a spending problem, it's a lot easier to fix your spendings than, all right, I make 50 grand a year, but I'm great at defense, limiting your expenses. It's hard to get that. So just understanding that these basic concepts are out there, understanding where you're at with money. The reason that I started the show is because when I was, I don't know, like 7 years ago, when I was all up in the club in South Beach and I was starting to make some serious money, and I was hanging out with all these, like, you know, shout out to Liv in South Beach, like party girls, and these girls would walk away with thousands of dollars in one night. They make all this money, and then boom, they'd go just drop it all at Mykonos.
Yeah.
And I would have all these I was friends with all these girls. I was like, you do realize that you can't always work in the club.
Yeah.
You're not always going to make this money. And if you're making, let's say, over 100 grand a year cash, keep in mind, I don't know about taxes, why don't you take like 5 grand of it and put in a Roth IRA? They're like, what's that? I'm like, just read this. Read this. I'm like,
It's the acting.
do you need like 18 pairs of Louis Vuittons? I love Louis. You know, and like I was just trying to encourage these girls, and my boys are like, dude, stop trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho. Like, it's not like
Captain Saver.
Get him
love
a
that
cape.
word.
Get him a
Get
cape.
it, like, I'm just like, so that's how I was like, all right, let me start talking to people a little more common sense. But understanding where you're at with money, understanding having a game plan for your money, understanding the difference between an earner, a spender, a saver, it's very important. So save that money. By the way, what would you rather date of all these?
The compulsive moneymaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wink. Go ahead.
No, same thing. Compulsive moneymaker. Like, if you have an itch to make some money, please go ahead, scratch it. Yeah.
Sarah?
I think the same, but I think that shows drive and ambition
Yes.
Okay.
and, you know, passion for what you do beyond just the money. I mean, that's it all.
Got it.
You have to love
Earn
what
it.
you do to make that money.
Got
Right.
it. Nat?
Moneymaker.
Okay, gotcha. So lessons, gentlemen. These girls haven't
a
agreed on
moneymaker.
one thing all day,
I love it.
other than they want the moneymaker. Now you know why we do the show on Valuetainment Money, and we talk about finance and romance, because
It's
it's
the
all
qualities
intertwined,
that
baby.
make the money maker.
It's
Can I just
all
add something
intertwined.
though?
Yes, ma'am.
Something which is really interesting. So growing up, my mom always used to like check like the cents or like the pennies. Like if this is like, oh, it's like £1.50 as opposed to £1.25. So my mum would always go for something which is £1.25 as opposed to £1.50, right? And I think that's a really bad mindset which has been ingrained in me. I said I was the saver,
is.
right? It's a really bad mindset. So now when I'm shopping, I'm like, get the one you want. Okay, it's an extra couple cents. Get the one you want. And that like ingrains a mindset of abundance, you know? So yes, it is of course good to like cut back if like you're going a bit crazy, but also have a mindset of like, okay, I want to live this quality of life. Okay, so I'm going to now have to make more rather than cut back to live within your means. So that's a new mindset, which I'm like taking on. And my brother and I, we talk a lot and we're like, oh my God, yeah, mum really did, say, oh, that's 5p for a bag. I'm not getting a plastic bag because you're making me pay 5 pence for it. No, like pay 5 pence for a damn bloody bag. Go make more money. It's a
Got
new
it.
mindset.
For our
It's a
friends in
mindset.
America, pence are cents, okay?
Yeah, pence are
and
cents.
quid is dollar.
Quid is dollar. That's
All right,
correct.
listen, we're crossing borders
Did you know
over here.
quid was dollar? Or did I tell you that one recently? You didn't know what
I
quid
know
was?
quid was
Did you know
dollar,
quid was dollar?
Layah. You're not the first British girl I've met.
No, I've told. Oh yeah, but I told somebody recently what that quid is dollar, and they didn't know that.
I didn't.
Do you know what a
No,
cigarette
cigarette.
is in the UK?
Do you know what a fag is in the UK? A cigarette.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, do you have a
Don't
spare
get
fag,
canceled.
mate? Do you have a fag?
No.
Oh.
You got a
Anyway.
spare fag for us?
Anyway,
I don't.
last story. All right, let's take this thing out here. Last story. Unfortunately, we can't get to a couple of things that I wanted to discuss. We're gonna go someplace else. This
Okay.
is okay.
Okay.
You've already kind of expressed how to land a
all
man.
good.
Okay, we did have a clip of yours, but I want to get to this clip of Candace Owens. Okay.
I love her. Candace, if you're
Okay.
watching, please email me.
Okay, so now she's gonna end up watching this clip.
I
and
love
it's-
her. Please email me.
Candace, you've got
over
some fans. So basically,
I love
she talks about this concept of go make your man a sandwich. Okay, should a woman go make her man a sandwich? Go make your man a sandwich. Go ahead, Candace Owens. What are your thoughts?
Thing that women say to me all the time. Why don't you make your husband a sandwich? Okay. Is he hungry? Does he want a sandwich? Did he say something? I make my husband food. The last 4 nights I've made my husband dinner. Like, I don't understand this weird they're trying to shame women for taking care of their families. Like, that is another element of feminism that I cannot stand. It's an attack on family and these things that work. It works. Men are biologically unable to have children. So the aspiration to climb a ladder forever, to wake up every single day and not have to worry about being pregnant for 9 months, I mean, that makes sense. We're different creatures, you know?
I think that's like a troll though. No, it's like all you're good for is like, yo, make me something to eat.
No, that whole concept came from rabid feminists. Like there was something wrong with being in the kitchen, right?
Oh, okay.
And this was sort of this push of women get out of the home and go to work, which has made so many women miserable. So many women miserable. Something that women say to me all the time.
Okay, got it. We talked about corrections and overcorrections. You know, there was a song that came out in 1980, the Dolly Parton song, "Working 9 to 5."
yeah.
What a way to... And all these women wanted to do was work because there was a yearning to get out of the kitchen. You know, we've seen the show Mad Men and women were disrespected, all that. So a correction was needed. All right, let's let these women work. But now an overcorrection is sort of in need, where it's like women are like, I got to get out of this freaking workplace over here. Let me just go be a housewife or be a loving mother or to being a loving wife. So so I think this is really just a metaphor for the concept of feminism and what's wrong with feminism and what's wrong with being a housewife. And, you know, you're talking about a very smart, opinionated, capable woman, Candace Owens. I think we can all agree with that, whether you agree with her politically or not. She's
amazing.
She's pretty...
tune.
she's kind of got it going on, but still, she's like, yeah, I'll make. Is he even hungry? Like, I think that's funny.
I love
Like,
that so
If he wants to.
yeah, if he's hungry, I'll make him a sandwich. But the bigger question here is this, you know, concept of feminism and the overcorrection that is probably needed in society. So, Aly, as a proud housewife and as a proud anti-feminist,
Right.
what about feminism bothers you the most, and what's the biggest lie that's being told to women?
I honestly think that just feminism just cripples women, because there is this whole other sector of womanhood from an economic standpoint that you can pursue outside of an education. And that's something that frustrates me, you know, in hindsight, now that I've cracked the code. Oh, wait a minute. If I stay relatively thin and cooperative, you mean that I have the potential to marry a man that can take care of me? I wish that was something that I had known sooner. I wish that I didn't feel so crummy in undergrad when people asked, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, honestly, I just want to be a mom because, and I'm about to sound real gold diggerish, but I want to make it abundantly clear I am willing to do whatever my husband asks of me. I very rarely tell him no. Like, y'all can find him, email him, DM him. So I made more the day that I got married than if I had decided to pursue a PhD and take that career path for a decade. And that to me is like, well, why wouldn't I do that? And then I get to do something that makes me happy, because to me, my dream, and I think other women might feel like this too, and if you feel like that, then, you know, it's okay. My dream is more so to make other people's dreams happen, like my husband's dreams or my kids' dreams. That to me is success, and I'd rather take that career path, and I can do that just staying home and taking care of people. And I think that is so sad that young women are walking around and they don't know that that's an option for them. And the other lie that feminism says is that it's, you have all the time in the world to get pregnant, when in reality it can be a challenge for a third of couples to get pregnant, but it's not just a challenge to get pregnant, it's a challenge to stay pregnant. So if you look at life beginning at conception, about 70 to 75% of pregnancies end up in spontaneous abortions. So your body just rejects whatever bad DNA replication occurred, right? Very, very tiny. Women could be pregnant for like 3 days. They wouldn't know because the baby just never comes to fruition if they're even fertile. So women think that they have this excess amount of time. In reality, if you want your best bet in a man, or you want the hot guy who makes a decent amount of money, you have from 18 to 28 to really lock that down. So I'll get, some skepticism about, well, what if this happens to your husband? What if that happens to your husband? Honestly, I have dual mating strategy with my husband. I have hypergamy to the max. I'm so grateful. Like, I think he's hot and he financially takes care of me. I don't want anything else. And girls, I mean, do it at 24. Like, screw it, marry your professor. What do you have to lose? Like, what do you have to lose? Marry your doctor.
Aly's about to get a lot of professors in trouble over there. But I love how all in you are on this.
Oh yeah,
Sara,
Adam is single.
That's true. Sara, you gonna make your man a sandwich?
I'm Italian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make him pasta.
Yes. I'm completely fine with taking care of a man.
Okay.
That's being a partner. I think that feminism maybe makes women feel bad about that, but that's human nature to want to take care of someone. Mm-hmm. Whether they're paying all the bills or you just love them, why wouldn't you cook for them?
How often have you had conversations with women that are like, I'm not fucking gonna make no man a sandwich. I'm too good for that. Like, you're saying you have that Italian motherly nature in you.
Rarely, but
do you ever like butt heads with other women, have conflicting ideology?
Not about that. About other things,
what?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I can't really think of anything off the top of the head, but like, not about cooking necessarily. But like, I agree with what she said. Like, feminism does, as much as I want to, like, everyone should just do what they want to be able to do, what they love to do. Like, there was a survey I took in college, and it was like, if you asked a woman if she really wanted to be a housewife, would you be happy working X amount of years? And they'd be like, no. And then you asked her the flip side, and she'd be like, yes, and did vice versa. People just are going to be happier in the role that they want to be in. You should just let people do whatever they want to do. But like, taking care of your man, to shame women for doing that, that's wrong.
Gotcha. Respect. All right, Layah, final word before we wrap up.
I'd be more.
You're gonna make some man a sandwich one day or what?
Yes, it would bring me all the joy in the world to cook for my husband. I'm more than happy to.
What are you saying about British people don't cook well?
Well, I've
Not
recently,
on the British baking show.
I've recently learned some extra cooking skills. I actually hired someone to help me, like in the kitchen and stuff. So now my cooking skills are really, really good. But what I'll say about all of that is, I actually don't think like women are happiest being entrepreneurs and being in the workplace. I really do think they are happiest, and not at home. I mean, they are happiest when they're in their feminine energy, which means being taken care of, but also taking care of her husband, supporting her husband, taking care of children, being nurturing. I think that's where women are most happiest. And actually, sometimes it takes getting much older and experiencing all of it to realize. Like, I saw someone doing some street interviews about this topic, and all these young women were like, no, I want a career. It was all the older women that had done it that turned around and was like, no, I want a rich man to take care of me.
What's crazy is when we did the interview with Tate in Madrid, I said, you're getting a lot of pushback from 21-year-old women. And by the way, it's natural. You've been in school all your life.
I would when I was 21.
Okay, that's my point. Like, it's natural. Like, the people pushing back you've been in school all your life. You're in college. You've been trying to get grades. You're trying to get your first job. You got your first job. You're working. And now someone tells you to get back in the kitchen. Sorry, buddy. But as life goes on a little bit more and you start to have relationships and you maybe have kids and you see how it is, I said, Tate, let me ask you, bro, why don't you sit down with a group of 80-year-old women and see what they have to say?
They'll love him.
And he'd be like, that's a great idea, mate. And I was like, bingo, I'm taking 10% as your agent, homie. Yeah. So I'd love to see if that happens. Let me know if you guys think that's a good idea. Guys, we've reached the end of the show. This has been amazing. What we do here at the end, before Natalya gives the final super chats, no questions, just comments. Before we do that, we have a segment of the show which is called The Happy Ending. So the happy ending for all the you dirty-minded people out there, that's not what this is. So leave us with something happy, with something positive, and what you would like the people at home to take away from you being on the show today. Layha Heilpern, would you like to go first?
Oh my God, sure. I had an argument with my brother before I came here, so I'm not feeling super positive, but okay.
Gideon, we're sorry, bro.
Okay, what do I want to take away? Look, like, I think nobody's coming to save you but you. Ultimately, it's men that are watching. And I think men have so much potential in this world when it comes to controlling their value and how the world perceives them. So what? Work hard. You'll feel better for it. The world will respect you more. And I think, like, you can run the world when you're a high value man. And I think as men, you are in control of that value. So work hard and just go grab the world. You have all the power to do it.
Be like Trump and go grab the world by the horns.
Okay. Pause.
Aly, by the way, shout out to Aly. If you have not subscribed to The Real Fem Sapien on YouTube, you just hit over 100K
Nice.
on YouTube. Respect,
I did.
congrats.
Claps, online claps.
And that's from a
Thank you.
housewife who basically
saying,
brings in
yeah.
1/8 of the income. Respect to you. Final words, Aly.
Oh goodness, I would say
Oh goodness,
women, you have
golly gee.
women, the world is your oyster, and if you focus and are logistical about dating, you have from 18 to 28 to get a guy that is physically attractive and could be ambitious or is already self-made. You can date as old as you would like, as old as you think is sexy, or as young as you would like, but be practical. If you're going to date a man, if you're in your 20s as a woman, you're going to be with a man in your 20s, make sure he's ambitious because and be prepared to take the sacrifices. You're not going to be broke forever. 35 could be looking real sweet for you. Your man could probably fly you out wherever you want to go, family vacations, just have some patience, but embrace that small window and just do your best. And I'm telling you, it's probably going to be a really amazing, awesome feeling if you get the optimal mate that you desire and you get to hold his baby on your chest. I think that is something very special and very divine. And women, we are capable of it if we decide to be wise about dating.
Love that. And I'll tell you why. Because firsthand experience, I was 25. I was a broke club promoter, stand-up comedian, South Beach. Gave that up to double down on getting a career. 10 years later, I became a millionaire. So you can figure things out. Just because where you're at in life right now in your early 20s doesn't mean as a man that's not where you're going to end up by 35, 40.
Oh, quick note.
It takes longer for a guy.
Quick note. Some girl fumbled that play because I'm sure some girl could have had you at 25, been married this whole time. She missed out on the millions. So be smart.
You know who you are, bitch. I'm totally kidding. Sara, what would you like people to
It's a mix of what you guys said. Just like the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want. Where you are at that moment in life is not where you're going to be forever. Just have goals and ambitions and keep trying. And, that's what I would say.
I love it. And where can we find you on TikTok, gaming? What do we got?
Giga Bunny, yeah.
Giga Bunny, giggity. Natalya, by the way, I feel like after a couple more shots, you'd actually get an even more wiser. So keep drinking is what I'm saying. Natalya.
Yes.
Take us home, baby. What do we got? What do the people need to know?
My closing message is actually shout out to my dad. I'll give this closing message. He said the worst thing in life is to be going through the best moments and not realize it. That is a very big statement I like to live by. So just be mindful of what we do here is we really give you guys a lot of value when it comes to money, relationship, lifestyle. And it's to put you guys in a place in your life where you need to be 100% present. So be present, do things to get clear on the things that you want. And I hope you guys find value with the interviews and the podcast and the content we give here because we really want to give back to the world. So that's my kind of closing message. We do have a few super chats that I will read. First, we have from Pat Stedman, Polished Passport. He said, the web NFT accounts I follow on Twitter, many of these people sound like a cult. Like they need metaverse promises to become real and maybe their life will have more meaning. Am I the only one getting that impression? And then we have another one that says, I love Aly. There's a reason why most men are drooling over her. It's not just that she's beautiful, it's her mindset. And I'm married and miserable. Oh, sorry to hear that.
Jesus.
And then
Wait, hold on. Pause right there. He's married, miserable. What type of woman do you think he's married to?
Probably what he deserved. Hypergamy is real.
Damn.
Look, man.
He's confessing his love to you, Aly.
No, hypergamy is real.
Heart.
Average guys are losing. I'm telling you. I mean, be better for yourself as men. But I'm like, the minority of marriages are happy marriages.
Increase your status, gentlemen. Go ahead.
And then we have another one. It says, why are women afraid to date men who have custody of their kids when women would easily jump into a relationship if they have custody of their kids? That was a comment. And then we have one more. Is there one question you would ask a higher power and guarantee the answer? What would you ask? That was from Nathaniel. But we can probably answer that in our next gathering
maybe we'll do
together.
that tomorrow.
And I do want to just let everybody know that we have 84,000 subscribers. We are almost at 100,000. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and get us to 100,000.
Like a year ago.
Literally just a year ago. So you guys make sure you guys subscribe, like, comment, share. Thank you guys for joining, and we will see you tomorrow. Right?
Yes,
We've got our show tomorrow.
We do have a show tomorrow with
Adam.
the big famous comedian TJ Miller. If you've not seen him, I think he was in Transformers. He's been all around the place. Vinny's going to be on, so tune in tomorrow. We do this thing Thursdays and Fridays. I love what you said right there. Hypergamy is real. Yeah. Okay? So we do this show for you gentlemen out there to increase your status. Okay? You can either be broke and you just want to be normal. You can be normal and you can try to be rich, or you can be rich and you can try to be major impactful in the world right there. So whatever status you're at, there's always another level. So wherever you're at, take account, look in the mirror. What do you need to improve? We talked about this the whole first segment of the show, whether that's in the gym, whether it's in the wealth, whether that's dating, whether it's relationships, whether that's anything in life. I always say constantly try to get better, faster, stronger, smarter, cooler, better, sexier, all that. Keep trying to improve as a man. And it all starts with your money, because we learned about that. So we out, save that money. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Out.